videos, and I was shooting like YMCA videos and local Seattle hip hop artists. You can see my Canon HV30 there with the sketchiest. I had a little bit of extra cable in this situation, as you can see. And I was waiting tables at the time, an online business and do all that kind of stuff. And it was back then that I also, maybe you can relate to, I didn't have a lot of time. Like I was trying to figure out how to do YouTube as a side hustle. I was trying to figure out how to create content while I was juggling work. I really was, my video production business was kind of a side hustle, and I'm waiting tables to pay the bills, trying to earn tips at Red Robin. Yum. And so ultimately I started to make videos. And what was wild was I was so busy, as you can see, I was filming videos in my car. So I mounted my Droid X in 720p to my dashboard. As you can see, the shot composition and angle is not really the best, especially as somebody who literally was doing video production. Like, why was I like, it'd be like, this is the shot composition. Like, I'm just like, all right, welcome to the video. Hey, here we are on a Think Media video. So anyways, this was like the second video I ever uploaded to my channel. You can see it's 12 years ago. And then this was not a good video, but during this time is when I discovered something that changed everything. I found out that there's a better way when it comes to getting views on YouTube. And let me know some of the worst advice you've heard, or maybe it was, you don't know if it's good or bad, but you tried it and it didn't work. Like everybody wants you to have like better thumbnails. Everyone's like, the Mr. Beast method is the only way. They're calling it the Mr. Beastification of YouTube. And no doubt about it, homie's pulling views, but YouTube's a lot bigger than Mr. Beast. Like, there's other ways to approach this thing. Not everybody needs to be full-time, charged-up energy, spend $3 million per video, and just drive trains into giant holes, right? There's other ways to do things, and even more practical ways. So what I stumbled on, you're going to start to see a trend in some of these videos, was I started to kind of like switch up my strategy, even though my video production wasn't very good. My camera wasn't very good. My location wasn't very good. I was like multitasking. Probably shouldn't have done that. Disclaimer, it's probably best not to like make videos while you're driving, although there are some truck driver channels that follow our channel. Just be safe. Mount your camera. I guess it's kind of like talking on the phone, that sort of. But anyways, at least I mounted it to my dashboard here, and you can see me with a better shot composition on this next video. I feel a lot better about this shot comp. You can actually see my dog Sophie right there, who I love. Unfortunately, she's dead. We are heartbroken. She lived with us though like 16 years. My wife and I have been married 17 years, and our dog was with us almost that entire time. There's a dark. Okay, anyways, it really is kind of sad. And they're probably unsafe to have her running around the car. If PETA's here, just don't leave a comment, okay? Just relax. But yeah, Sophie was running around the car at this moment. And you can see here, though, this was the pivot. This is what changed. The video topic was video editing PC tips. How to build an HD video editing computer. Because what I had done is I have been doing video at this moment for 20 years. At that time, I'd been doing video for 20 years. So I was kind of scratching my own itch. Like I had built video computers, hard drives, RAM, video cards. Like what's, how to get everything, a good motherboard. How do you build it from scratch? If you're having issues with like scrubbing on the timeline. The technology wasn't as good as it was today. And so I was sharing on YouTube my experience, my pain points, the things I achieved, the problems that I had solved. And so what I discovered here was the thing that 99% of YouTube creators are honestly ignoring right now this year, and that's still a huge opportunity, is search-based content. It's search-based content. And I want to share with you 7 reasons why this is so powerful, and even if you think you're doing it, you're probably not maximizing it. But what happened was I started to pivot. As you can see here, there's the bad shot composition video. How to get started in video production and video editing. My first couple videos got like no views. But once I started making like actual valuable videos that were answering specific questions, solving specific problems, and that were about topics that people were actually searching for, I actually started to get some pretty decent results, even though I was filming in my car with this angle, because I was sharing from my experience. I had some real experience, I had some lessons, and so I was sharing valuable information, and people that would go to YouTube and be like, how do you get started in video production and video editing, would find my video. So if you're wondering, like, how did Big Media grow? Like, Sean, you know, today it's like Big Media's 30 people and all this stuff is kind of happening. What's happening? How did it grow? We started, there's no we, it's just me, Sophie, and my wife. And eventually, I laugh when I'm in pain. That's awful. But literally, all of our dogs are dead. I didn't expect the video to go this way, but let's go back. What was I doing? I was making search-based videos. So it wasn't a team. It was just me. I was the only creator, only editor. I was figuring out how to do this with a challenging schedule. You know, I had a 9-to-5, but it was search-based content that was the bridge from starting to where I am today. And what we're going to talk about is 7 powerful things related to this. But if you notice, I leveled up a little bit and I went back and changed my thumbnails. You can see that other thumbnail, it wasn't that the thumbnails got better. It actually was like 2, 3, 4 years later that I went back and uploaded that thumbnail on that second video. And it's much better. You can see the case that I built the PC in, put some text on screen. But 11,000 views. So if you're here starting, trying to figure out, man, how do I get my first 1,000 subscribers? How do I get my channel started? How do I start to grow? Don't get me wrong, there's other forms of content, but a lot of times people get frustrated because they're trying to go viral. They're trying to be a master storyteller, but they haven't figured that out yet. When there's a much more practical, they're trying to hit home runs when you could just hit a base hit with search-based content. And so what I started to do was I started to also really understand who I was making content for. The early days of Think Media, I'd make a video for really churches, because we had this other channel called Think International, and it was like faith leaders and people in media and different stuff. And so I made like this video, Best Church Video Announcements, which was a search term. And actually, this was kind of how I micro blew up. I mean, 82,000 views 12 years ago, but really early on, I really became known in a smaller niche. Side note, if you haven't heard about our Think Media podcast, we'll link that up in the show notes. We have a whole series about like marketing warfare and niching down. But I wrote a book called YouTube for Churches, and a lot of times it's helpful to have a much smaller target audience, if you will, and that's kind of what it was. So all of a sudden now, people are discovering my channel because I'm making search-based content. And in just a second, I'm going to be sharing about why this works so powerfully. But then I would share like video blogging tips and tricks, 22,000 views, how to record Skype interviews. Side note, before things were easier than they are today with all this cool software and being able to sort of record interviews, it was not easy 12 years ago. Like your homeboy's been in the game, and how to record Skype was like a legendary answering specific questions. So I got 22,000 views. I was talking about like specific a fisheye lens that I put on my Canon Vixia, 64,000 views. And so the big key here is search-based content. But I need to share with you 7 reasons why this is so powerful and why 99% of people are missing out on the power of this. But first, check out this quick spot from Omar and our sponsor, Epidemic Sound, and I'll be right back with those 7 things.
This video is sponsored by Epidemic Sound.
One danger in creating videos and putting all your hard work into an edit and not having royalty-free music is uploading your video to the internet and then it getting taken down and maybe shutting down whatever account you actually uploaded it on. It's a very scary thing that's actually happening nowadays. And what you need is royalty-free music. And unfortunately, it's hard to find royalty-free music that's not only easily accessible, but also easy to find. And so what's incredible about Epidemic Sound is they have a huge library of audio tracks that you could browse easily, but also sound legit. A lot of these songs sound like they should be on the radio, and that's what I love about it. We can find the song and match the vibe we are going for. A lot of times I like using hip-hop trap songs. And what's so cool about downloading a track that you like on Epidemic Sound is that they actually give you the stems of a song. So if there's like an instrument that you like inside of the song that's all you want, you could download that stem and use that in your video. And if you are looking for sound effects for your videos to take your edits to the next level, there's a huge library, and their ability to search for that is so easy. A lot of the times I'll throw up a price on a YouTube video when I'm doing like a tech gear review, and I'll just type in cash register and it gives me the perfect sound that I want when I add that price on screen, and it just re-engages the attention of the viewer.
To sign up, go to thinkmediasounds.com. Thank you so much, Epidemic Sound, for sponsoring this video.
Yeah, we love Epidemic Sounds. Music will take your videos to another level. And if you go to thinkmediasounds.com, you can get a 30-day free trial and 50% off for 2 months. We've been using Epidemic since before they were a sponsor. So if you want to take your music to another level and avoid copyright issues, which is a huge key, check out the link in the description. But let's talk about the 7 powerful benefits of search-based content. And if you could smash the like button if you're getting value, then definitely hit that. We're going to jump into some coaching in just a second on our Coffee with Cannell show. But let's talk about these. So, number 1, increased visibility. So, content that aligns with popular search queries is more likely to appear in search results, which gives you increased visibility. So, this can lead to likes, comments, awareness, and ultimately it is a practical way. People ask me all the time, Sean, like, how do I get discovered when I have 0 subscribers, 0 views, when nobody knows me? You got to tap into the power of search-based content. And a lot of times, even the most people that lean more viral and suggested-based content still start with search-based content, even as their first couple of videos, to attract a very specific audience and to get their channel started. Number 2 is increased audience retention. So if your video is exactly what someone is searching for, they're more likely to stay and watch the whole video and even explore your other content, assuming your channel is not a bunch of random stuff and they didn't just find one video on your channel about a specific topic, look at your library and they're like, I can't find anything else like it. But if they can, think about it. Intent is so high when someone searches for something, finds your video, and if your video isn't a waste of time, meaning it's not just like one part that answers the question, then if the video needs to be watched to deliver the answer to the search, then ultimately you can have increased audience retention, which is a huge key factor in cracking through YouTube's algorithm. Now, think about this as well. If you're trying to get 4,000 watch hours, if you have a search-based video that ranks in search, and people are finding it and they're watching a lot of time on it, and then YouTube promotes it more because you're getting average view duration, then that is a win-win-win-win-win. It'll get you to monetization faster, grow your channel faster. So increased audience retention is another benefit. Number 3, a targeted audience. So search-based content allows for you to attract a very targeted audience depending on what the video it is you're making. Like if you're making a tutorial on a specific software, then obviously you're attracting somebody who wants to learn that exact software. There's giant channels that have built lucrative careers off of teaching Microsoft Word, Excel. Miss Excel was on our Think Media podcast. She, in 2020, got disrupted by the pandemic, was like, I don't want to work in a corporate job anymore. And so she started to create content around Word, or rather Microsoft Excel. Now it's the entire Microsoft suite. Now she's doing like 6 figures a month, and her whole story's crazy, and she's able to kind of go full time and build a career in an online business. But really, she's doing search-based content. It's like a specific software, specific pain point, attracting specific viewers that are interested in that software. You can do this in any niche, but that would be one example of how targeted of an audience you'd attract. Now, number 4 is SEO benefits. So never forget that YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine in the world, right? And so well-optimized search-based content can not only rank high in YouTube search, but it can also rank on Google. We get something like 1 to 3 million views a year on Think Media from Google, not because we have a good website. I kind of have a website, but like it's a whole nother story. Not really. Like we have like just our YouTube channel, but YouTube videos rank on Google. Alphabet is the parent company of YouTube and Google, and they talk to each other, and so you can significantly increase your content's reach by creating search-based content. Are you going to start creating some search-based content? Let me know in the comments. Have you made any videos that rank in search? Do you get search traffic? If you look at your analytics, and are you thinking about starting? Let me know. Number 5, monetization opportunities. So, of course, when views come in, you can get an engaged audience. You can get to monetization faster. But the little-known benefit here is the fact that, for example, like in affiliate marketing, which we don't really have time to go into that. If you want to learn a little bit more about that and many things, check out our free challenge that's coming out starting soon at tube1kchallenge.com. But monetization opportunities on search-based content. For example, affiliate marketing. When someone's intent is to look for a specific thing and find a specific video, and then it's related to a specific product, then ultimately when they find that video and they're like, this is exactly what I was looking for, and you're like, hey, if you want to check out links in the description down below, it converts at such a higher level in terms of sales, money, monetization, even if you haven't qualified for the YouTube Partner Program yet. That's the power of search-based content. So why people are over here, and I understand there's all different perspectives on YouTube, but it's one of the biggest opportunities with this is how much hate search-based content gets these days. Like, I am so shocked whenever I see Minecraft 46 in my comments just being like, you didn't get confused, Mr. Beast. And I'm like, oh, bro, but here's the thing, dog. I've seen you in the comments, but I've never seen you at the bank. Like, I don't know if you understand what's happening here. Like, I think, like, we've earned, by the way, thank you for your support, because I know it serves people to answer their questions about tech and cameras. We have like $30,000 we've made in the last 30 days off the Amazon Affiliate Associates Program, talking about specific answers to specific questions related to affiliate marketing. So what Minecraft 46 can't see is they can't see your profit. It's not just about big viral views. It's about your money plan. It's about your business plan. And search-based content has so many benefits that is unseen by everybody that's obsessed with vanity metrics and just trying to chase the algorithm and chase virality. Like, it's really, people aren't even realizing what's really happening behind the scenes. There's some real monetization opportunities out here. And number 6 is channel growth. So by regularly creating search-based content, you can steadily grow your channel's audience over time. Big key, over time. So I also saw, you know, Karen 42 in my comments, and she was like, oh, your video only got 7,000 views in the first day. You have so many subscribers. And I'm like, okay, Karen, how about you check back on that video in 24 months? Because search-based content doesn't go as parabolic as suggested content. Don't get me wrong. You should make viral videos all day long. This isn't an either-or thing. This is an and thing. But the fascinating thing about search-based content is it's not as flashy up front, but you can get views for weeks, months, and years to come. So key word here is steadily grow your channel's audience over time. One of my favorite stories is The Tortoise and the Hare. Did you read that book? Did you grow up with it? The Tortoise and the Hare. And a lot of people, like the majority of content creators, and the mentality right now is everyone's trying to be the hare. Everyone's trying to go viral, chase vanity metrics, go crazy. And if you can sustain that, good for you. But ultimately, if we remember what happened there, was the hare was arrogant. The hare kind of got cocky. The hare thought, like, I'll just run and I'll sprint. But meanwhile, the tortoise was just going slow. It wasn't sexy. The tortoise was just going one step at a time. And I think about back to my journey 13 years ago. I started Think Media. I was just uploading one video at a time. It wasn't super sexy, and there wasn't these breakout moments. By the way, along the way, there's been some viral videos. Grateful for it. By the way, like recently now, YouTube Shorts are going parabolic. Like, we're having some different stuff happen, but I'm still obsessed with being the tortoise. Like, I'm ready to go slow, man. I just want to do one video at a time, get a few views here and there, because they compound. It's wild. If we walk away from Think Media, we're still get like 100, 200,000 views every single day for probably 2 years. If we never uploaded again, by the way, probably longer than 2 years. It would go down. We probably have 200,000 for 6 months without even really going down. I have 10-year-old videos that are still getting views and growing the channel and making ad revenue and getting subscribers. They're over 10 years old. People out here trying to talk about search content doesn't work, like search-based content. Like, come at me, man. Invite me on the podcast. Let's debate it. Invite me on the show. I'm ready to go toe-to-toe with anybody that wants to talk about this search-based content game, because there's some real channel growth here. But it can be slow. Don't get me wrong. It might not be super sexy. But would you be willing to chip away at your dreams one video at a time if it took you 1 year? How about 2 years? What if it took you 3 years to be full-time, well-paid, being able to kind of have freedom to do what you want, when you want, where you want? What if it took you 4 years, but you just steadily worked toward the goal? How about 5 years? You're willing to put in the work, 5 years, one video at a time. Along the way, there's some bright spots, there's some things that happen, but it takes you 5 years to build up a base that's unbreakable, anti-fragile. Like you have a recession-proof YouTube channel. Would you be willing to put in the work? This channel growth is real. And as your videos start ranking for more and more search terms, you'll attract a wider audience and you'll even gain more subscribers. Number 7, and I do have a warning though. Number 7 is evergreen content, because search-based content often includes evergreen topics, and those topics remain relevant and interesting to viewers over long periods of time. This type of content can attract views and engagement long after it was first posted. And I just mentioned that I've got 10-year-old videos that are still being used. And the problem I've seen with the changing virality is the problem is some of those creators, a lot of those creators have come and gone. 15 minutes of fame, they were hot for a year, they were up and then they were down. Maybe they weren't able to reinvent themselves, they burnt out. And I just feel like I've been over here under the radar, like people don't even know shit. Like we're just chilling over here, literally supporting them since I was in the and you wouldn't even know it. Like you wouldn't even see, because maybe it's not as flashy as what everybody else is doing, but that is the power of search-based content. Now, reminder and warning though is that you want to balance search-based content with other types of content. And so ultimately search-based is not the only kind of content you want to create. Like, that's not what I'm saying. And I don't even need to defend myself. I want to get better at like not defending myself, because if you make like polarizing statements, it triggers more people and they leave more comments. Like, because I mean, you can argue every point and every angle. Oh, Sean, are you saying that that's the only thing? Yeah, but I watched this other like, relax, Ricky. It's gonna be okay, Karen. Like we can chill out. Like this is just one piece of the bigger content pie. But honestly, it's the missing piece of a lot of creators. It really is. It's the forgotten. And let me just encourage you with this as we get ready to go into some of our coaching and our Q&A and smash like if you've been getting ignore and forget and dishonor a strategy that is effective, but they start chasing the shiniest thing and the latest thing. Like, that's a massive opportunity. Like, it's a massive opportunity to double down and to pull down on the fundamentals. So Michael Jordan would say, master the fundamentals and everything else you do will lapse. There's just something about mastering search-based content. A critic would be like, oh yeah, I'm search-based stuff. Like, no, not a search-based because I'm not, but like, this is still my favorite kind of content. Like, we're at Think Media, you can check out the channel. Like, we're doing the different stuff, but as it plays out over time, maybe it's the gray in my beard that has just taught me how powerful this is. There's something about being 13 years in the game, still standing, you know, healthy, wealthy, and wise, like looking back and thinking about, okay, I see how this plays out in the long game, and I see the power of slow and steady wins. I want to be the tortoise and not the hare. I want to ultimately build something that's anti-fragile, recession-proof, unbreakable, and my friend, that is search-based content. Now, if you have more questions about this, we're about to get into some guests. Smash like if you've been learning something today. We're bringing some people onto the show, I believe, and we're testing out some new stuff here in StreamYard. But if you want to learn a little bit more about this, and this is one of, we teach 16 different strategies. This is one of them. But if you want to learn more of these in a free challenge that we're doing coming up next week, depending on when you're watching this, is a challenge that is happening at tube1kchallenge.com for 5 days, one session a day. I'm going to be going deep, about an hour, and we have 4 special guests coming on as well, and it's totally free. And so you can go to tube1kchallenge.com if you want to register. We're giving away a YouTube studio. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's all about how to get your first or next 1,000 subscribers, and also multiple different ways of earning $1,000 on YouTube. So if you haven't registered, register. Link in the description down below. If you have any questions about it, let me know. If you have any questions, put 4 question marks before and after your question. If you are fired up for the Coffee with Cannell show, let me know what you're drinking. I already had my coffee, but I'm sipping on some BCAAs and creatine. I don't even know why I don't work out, but I just thought, it's okay. Smash like if you're grateful, and I can't wait to get into today's Coffee with Cannell show. Here we go. Okay, on the Coffee with Cannell show, we can bring you on. So they're dropping the link. There's a link in the description if you want to join me on camera. Just make sure you have a decent internet connection, decent audio, and all that kind of stuff. We'll meet you in the green room. We got a green room now, backstage with StreamYard. But if you have a question about YouTube, 4 questions before and after helps me see it in the live chat. What's been your aha moment today related to search-based content out here in the world? I do think we might have somebody, let me know, and I don't know how to do it, Victoria, Kyle, so we can do that in a second. But here we go. Should I share personal beliefs in my introductory video? You totally can, Joshua, but nobody cares. I can say that with more kindness, but they really don't. Like, in fact, like today's video, I think the idea when you first start YouTube is you can start with search-based content, value-based content, and really meet strangers. People are too busy. Like, the people that are coming on YouTube are like, what's your personal beliefs? What are your beliefs? Like, I'm trying to solve a problem, but like, can you just take a second to read about your background? Nobody cares. I think that's important to know. Now, you might go, well, Sean, you've made other videos where you talk about people connect with your values and beliefs. Yeah, eventually. But they meet you at the pain point first, or the problem first, or the ambition first, or being entertained first. They get to know you. It then creates interest in you. And as you weave in your beliefs to your content, here's what I'd prefer. I would prefer you make valuable videos that add value to the audience, that have your beliefs woven into them. And how would you do that? Well, you might make a nugget, like you might be breaking something down and talk about, 3 benefits of YouTube. 1, you can make money. Like 2, you could grow your influence. 3, you can make an impact. And for example, like, it's really important to me to make a difference in the world. And as my YouTube channel has grown, our company now supports over 100 children through Compassion International. It's a huge value of ours. Number 4, and so you can include a value like in a sentence, but I don't even think you need an introduction video. Like, someday you could do it, but nobody cares about your introduction video. They care about being educated or entertained, and find ways to weave your values in. Someday later, you might have a podcast, you might be on someone's podcast, you might be speaking on stage. There's other times where I think you go deeper in that stuff, but like, be brief, be bright, be fun, and be done. Post the video, maybe touch on a belief, but ain't no need to like really unpack your story. How do you get around having resting B face? It's a good question. Well, you're far down the road, I think, on that, because you're self-aware. Self-awareness is a superpower, and so I think that if you are aware of how you look on camera, I think the way to get around it is change it. Like, train your face different. This is what I'm saying. Like, my background's in church, and so I was also a director of communications, moved to Las Vegas 2011. So I was managing like social media, and also we had like an online campus, and so we had video, we were streaming it. And this is one of the biggest things that people would not realize. So there's like the praise and worship team, and they'd all be like up on stage, and like when they're singing, like they'd be singing, and they knew they were on camera and whatever, and then when like transition would happen, they'd like go off into the background, and like, like when they'd be standing off in the background, and then the other they'd be like, and what they didn't realize was they were still on camera. See, there's something about like when you're in production and you have to show on stage get invited on the panel at all, and they don't realize that they've got a TV face when they're not talking on the microphone. Now maybe you have that same face when you are talking on the microphone, but the fact you identified it just shows that you can change it. Like self-awareness is the first step in almost anything. So what did we learn? Well, we learned that, you know, when someone was stage center doing a transition, that someone was off to the left or the right behind them was like, just stay engaged. Eye contact on the person speaking, which actually reinforces people watching that individual off the camera. You know, maybe put a little smirk on, a little smile, a little thoughtfulness. You know, even when I'm interviewing people on like Zoom or whatever, like, you know, while the other person's talking, you don't want to be like, whatever face you do. You can put a smile on your face. And then practice for 20 years. I mean, that's then just, you watch your game tape back, you watch the video back, and then I think that's the real key. And so, I don't know what Kyle wants me to do. I think we're supposed to bring somebody on, but he came on camera. I can't see people in the green room chat, but here we are. And I see people. Are we having anyone on? Or are you going to tell me in the studio chat when we are? There's some starred questions. I'm going to keep it going. Coffee with Cannel. Cheers, friends. Smash like. Drop your questions, and we are bringing on guests. Nothing else is also coming in the studio chat. Oh, okay, great, perfect. So you'll tell me when you're ready. Thank you. We're resolving some tech issues, and so we're answering your starred questions. I want to thank you for the super chat. Sean, you have changed my life in more ways than you can ever know. I feel like I owe you so much. I can't thank you enough for all the free info you share. Thank you. AO Hammer, I appreciate you. Grateful for you. Thanks so much for the kind words. And appreciate you being a part of the Coffee with Cannel show. Today's DC8s with Cannel. I don't know, I forward good. A lot of starred questions. Good. That last one got me going, Simon. That was a great question. That was fun. All right. Hey, yeah. Is there any specific time for uploading YouTube videos and shorts? The answer is kind of like no. And we just had an episode. We'll link it up in the description. If you didn't see our episode with Renee Ritchie, YouTube employee, the way the algorithms work today is that there's no specific time. Like if the video's good and it has good signals, click-through rate, engagement, people don't swipe away on shorts, watch, you know, average view duration, average percentage viewed, all the stuff, it will do well. You upload that video that's still getting views 10 years later. I don't freaking know. You know, what time did I don't know. Was it a Monday? Was it a Thursday? Was it 8 a.m. or was it 9:45? It's still getting views 10 years later, so it does not matter. Fair? So if you are, when Todd said that the other day at an event that I heard him, another YouTube employee, he was saying like shelf life, like YouTube, never underestimate 3 weeks of your content. Never underestimate 180 days later, 300 days later on your content. Last thing I'd say is that once your channel's seasoned up a little bit, make sure to go into your back end and at least upload your content. It gives you like when your viewers are online. So it could hurt your video that it never really takes off to upload in the middle of the night when your viewers aren't asleep. So you be thoughtful about when you make it public, if you will. But what's a lot more important is making a great video. All right, we are ready for our first guest, and I am fired up today. We're gonna bring Kaitar. Is that your name? How do I say it, man? Thanks for coming on the show. Let me know your name and what's your question.
Kaitar. Yeah, Kaitar.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you. What's your question?
Real quick, I'm hearing you. I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. It's a little delayed. I'm hearing you through the YouTube live stream. How can I listen to you live?
You could shut down the YouTube live stream and you should be able to hear the StreamYard window that you're connected to. So at StreamYard.com, like / wherever is the room you're in, and like making sure that you've got that turned on and your settings there.
Okay,
like
I'm gonna try
edit
that
night.
now. Thank you for having me on, by the way. 'Cause I'm not hearing you through the YouTube live or the stream lab StreamYard. Just 1 second here. Because everything else is working on my end, it seems, but I can't seem to hear you on StreamYards for some reason. Let's
Cool.
see.
Let me check in with you in a second. I'll throw you back in the green room, and then we'll come back and we'll see if Kyle.
I hear you now. I hear you now.
Okay, cool.
I do hear you now. Sorry about that. So
Tell me
yeah,
about your channel.
I just
What's
was
going on?
curious. So I do a gaming channel. It was very difficult to kind of scale it up a little bit, but listening to your guys' advice and also vidIQ, I was able to scale it pretty effectively. I found that making content that I thought was, the most enjoyable content wasn't always fit, but serving the audience was actually the better way to do things. It's been a very difficult challenge for me to find innovative ways to scale up the channel. The only way I've been able to do that so far has been by covering older games. I've kind of found the niche with like older gaming communities. I do lots of entertainment-based challenge stuff. I'm tackling YouTube Shorts as well. I'm trying to do innovative shorts, things like that. So
Are you
I
doing,
guess my
like,
question
Sims? Is this the right channel for you?
Yep.
Like Tytar?
that is it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. I was curious what you thought about my titles, my thumbnails. I put a lot of work into my thumbnails, my video editing. I spent a good deal of time actually right now, but I saw you were live. I was like, oh, maybe I can get him to answer some of my questions. I watch your streams all the time, so I appreciate you taking me on the show.
Great, awesome question. So titles and thumbnails. So I think that I think the thing I like to jump into is studying others in the niche, and so looking at Sims. Let's see, Sims 2, Sims 4. So what's probably hottest right now, Sims wise?
I would say Sims 4, but the challenge I face is anytime I do anything Sims 4 related, my views are a 4. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting buried by the bigger players in the field, or if it's, I'm not sure. Maybe I've pulled together an audience that enjoys the older Sims games more. I know there's some controversy with Sims 4, meaning most people don't like it as compared to Sims 1, 2, and 3. I do a lot of Sims content because my viewers enjoy it, but I guess my big question is how can I branch into other games effectively without losing my core audience and pulling in a new audience that can appreciate the challenge-based videos that I am doing. And basically, I do a bunch of silly challenges, things like that, and the viewers typically enjoy the outcome at the end of the video, because when I win, I'll give out a prize. If I lose, I will do a punishment for them, and I do that on my live streams as well.
Great. One thing I want to just kind of share with our community here is, as I'm studying this out, is using Google Trends. If y'all in the Think Media community are not using Google Trends, it'd be a cool way to kind of like study interest in a topic over time, and you want to be in front of as much as possible topics that are popular. I mean, I get it that if everyone's making 4, that might be hard to break through, and so you're trying to be like a bigger fish in a smaller pond, but the amount of interest in like the Sims 4 versus 2, it's 50 times more in the Sims 4. I think you're probably onto something right when it comes out to maybe trying both, but that would just be thing 1. I think thing 2 would be I like to head over to just like a search and to study out like, okay, so a review of The Sims, playing The Sims, these are obviously, multi-million channel subscriber channels, so that's a big advantage. Let's see, gameplay. So let's see, The Sims 4 challenge, and you're doing challenges, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
So this is a little bit different. These are actually challenges. I kind of like some of this stuff, like just if we share my advice, number 1, I'm not the biggest for gaming channels, but number 2, my approach to gaming channels, Tytar, is I think about back when I played Last of Us 1 and 2 and Final Fantasy Remake. I was on YouTube all the time trying to solve specific problems. I was trying to figure out the 10 basics, like how to use my materia on Final Fantasy. I was trying to figure out how to beat certain bosses, and I was seeing a lot of videos that had like 100,000 views. So this isn't a challenge, right? This would be challenges that the player can play. Not even a huge channel, but got 653,000 views. This really reinforces, I believe, what we just talked about at the beginning here, which was like search-based content. I think that's interesting. And so is this kind of what you're doing? I tried the toddler to adult challenge in Sims 4.
You can always feel free to pull up a video of mine. I'm not trying to promote it or anything, but basically, in short, I try to make it more humor-based and more comedy-based than anything. That's one thing. And on the shorts front, I try to do something that I don't like to, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm here to learn. I try not to repurpose my content through shorts. I try to create original shorts. I do like visual effects. Okay,
that's best practice.
Okay, good. It does take extra time and effort, but I do Sims in real life. The fans typically enjoy it. So it's kind of, yeah, you can kind of see it right there. I make different skits and stuff like that. And it has been working pretty well. I'm not really punching through, though. So here's kind of the special effects I'll do.
Yeah, I think you're on to something here. I think this could eventually, that's all very cool. It's nice and short. That could break through. That could just be going deeper and trying to think about what the hook is. What I guess I'm after, have you went and deeply studied the most successful Sims shorts and Sims channels?
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I'm stuck, because when I study them, it's kind of what you described, where there's a lot of guides and how-tos, and that doesn't really fit kind of the channel brand that I've pulled together. And so I'm trying to find a creative way to basically be what the channel is, kind of like this, where I set up a challenge and then I set the stakes and I basically do the challenge, right? And the issue I'm having is because I'm unknown in the field of YouTube. I know I got some funny memes and stuff there, but because I'm not really known, people don't really care to click, but they would care to click if we did like search-based content. That's making sense. So I'm almost wondering, do I lean more towards the search-based just to get some more traction, but I also don't feel like it's true to the brand and overall vision, which is something I'm finding these contradictory sort of, like, do I settle for views or do I kind of stick to what I'm trying to go for here, if that makes sense?
Well, ultimately, it's up to you. But where we come in this conversation, I think, is really powerful because it is YouTube. So it is your tube. You can do what you want. And the thing that stands out to me, though, is you've really connected deeply, fallen in love with the way I heard you say it was like the brand of the channel. I think that this can sometimes be a hard conversation for creators that I talk with because they feel this huge tension between like business and art. They feel a tension between, I just want to be a creative. Why do I have to like necessarily do things a certain way? If I want to even make money on YouTube, why can't I just like share my art? The truth is, well, you can, but if you come into something with a business mindset, you actually come into it saying first, what is actually the market asking for, not what do I want to create. I think when trying to get traction, it's a lot smarter, personal opinion, to be practical and not feel like you're going to be in such a box. I think like if I give you some firm coaching and just direct, like your brand doesn't matter if nobody ever finds it. Content is king, but marketing is queen, and she runs the household. So some of the best content is not being watched right now if it doesn't ultimately get discovered because of thinking about what will get views. But maybe to build a bridge between kind of where you're coming from and what I'm saying, I think it's just really smart to be practical, to build an audience and get awareness that people would see you're funny, they would see your content, and then they might be interested in things like, it actually so deeply ties into this exact theme. Use search-based content to get discovered in the first place. And then once people find you, they start being like, they're already there, so they're subscribed, so now they can actually go deeper with you. You drop a video that's kind of like more mystery suggested based, they're like, oh, that sounds cool, but like until you actually have a core audience, diverting into like, this is the way I feel like doing it, can ultimately lead you down a path of struggling to grow. Here's your options. Your options are, though, is to keep following your intuition, to keep following your gut, to build the brand you want, and to hope it breaks through, and it might. And if you also are just, you ultimately want to be at peace with your approach. Be like, I'm cool. If it takes 10 years, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I like my style. I like the memes. I like the comedy. I like what I'm doing. It's just about being self-aware to be like, that's, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm cool with that. On the flip side, if you're like, I would much rather, you have like a day job right now and you'd love to do this full time?
I actually quit my job to go all in, kind of based off of what you guys have suggested. And the truth of it is, I know you guys didn't say quit your job and do this, but I've gone all in because I believe that much in the dream.
Yeah.
I believe that much in the brand, and at the same time, I really agree with what you're saying. And it's this is why I wanted to speak with you, because search-based might be the best way to go, and I've just been kind of struggling because on one hand I hear search-based is the thing, but you also want to make sure you're sticking true to who you are and your brand, but ultimately I'm trying to treat this like a business that I can have the creative freedom in. But yeah, I'm all in on this. I sold my place and now I'm doing it.
That's amazing. I love the courage and the step out there. And what I would, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying search-based is the only way. What I am saying is studying out, like perhaps the trending things, studying out things that like you're still into because you like Sims, but that are maybe just different than the exact content format you feel committed to. Probably what most of us listening to this live or on the replay could have learned from at any stage in our career is to take a few steps back and get a fresh perspective and realize, okay, if what I've been doing for a while, if I've done 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 videos in a particular way and I haven't quite broken out, there's probably a pivot needed. Let me try to pivot the content format, pivot the titles, pivot the thumbnails, pivot the approach, and try something else, and continue to kind of pivot. But the shortcut to finding really what works, I don't mean copy popular videos, but if like there's a particular thing that's happening in Sims culture, search-based, like if it's like challenges that people can, you're able to share that, or just if it's, you know, whatever else you can learn by going and doing the reconnaissance, but it's with a particular mentality that you're doing the reconnaissance. You're going with the journal in hand, thinking, okay, my thumbnail approach, my topic approach, and again, at the end of the day, it's like you being practical, I believe, is the pathway to then being profitable, and being profitable is the key that unlocks your dreams. Because once you have a level of subscribers and an audience and so on and so forth, people might be like, oh my gosh, you make a living from your art, like you're a comedian, like you're, you know. And there's actually a cool book called everyone's heard the quote, Starving Artist. And there's a great book by Jeff Goins called Real Artists Don't Starve. And it's kind of about, it's good for content creators because it's content creators, and I get it. Like we get comments like, yeah, but I just, come on, this thing is so, you expect me to be so technical. Like it's Sean, all you talk about is money. Or like, man, you're taking all the life out of it, all the heart out of it, and all the art out of it. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like real artists don't starve. Like let's find a way to fund your passion. Let's find a way to build a bridge to practicality of a baseline of 1,000 true fans and monetization streams and all that stuff we talk about, so that you can fund your art for the rest of your life. It's really it's not a black or white answer. It's not a problem to be solved. It's creating the videos you want versus the tension of the videos that the algorithm wants. People go, I just want to make the videos I want to make. It's like, well, good. You should make the videos you want to make. But if it doesn't work, you just need to be okay with the results. Vice versa. I don't want to just make the videos that'll please the algorithm, or that'll just be clickbait, or that'll just get views and that'll just make money. Okay, well then you don't want money. Like that's what I heard you. So that's fine. Like, but it's not either or. People get all bent out of shape on the extremes. I think it's about finding attention in between. So I hope this convo's helped you. For time's sake, I want to jump in with we have a couple other guests, but has there been any clear takeaways for you here, Taitar?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me on, Sean. I've been watching your content for quite a while. You've actually helped me get to almost 3,000 subscribers, so thank you. And the multiple streams of income have actually come from your advice. I'd say the biggest takeaway I've had so far is not necessarily that I need to be entirely search-based. And if I decide to go down the route of just doing things that I enjoy, which are not necessarily Sims, but gaming challenges is kind of what I want to go down, is trying to find a way to blend the two ideas together in a creative, clever way where people want to click and it's search-based, but at the same time they see the true colors of me coming through, essentially. So I appreciate you, and my fans are loving the content, and a lot of it is because of a lot of the tactics you guys have taught at Think Media. So thank you so much for having me on.
I appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for being a part of our community. Appreciate you. All right, man, give Taitar some love in the chat. Smash like button if you are fired up for today. We have 2 people on deck for Coffee with Cannel, but I wanted to hit a super chat. 2 more that have come in. The real John's talking about how can you have a balance of both. A balance of what? Search-based and viral challenge content. How can you have a balance of what? You know, YouTube Shorts versus long form. I think the key, the real John, is that what you want to do is think about who is your channel for and what value does it deliver to the viewer. You can deliver up that value in multiple different ways. We call it the Cinnabon strategy. You're walking through the mall. I know these aren't as popular anymore, but I grew up as a mall rat. I'd be walking through the mall, and sure enough, there was some beautiful old lady standing there with a tray of Cinnabon samples. And in the Cinnabon cups, anybody remember Cinnabon? Come on, that is a good way to destroy your diet. And so I'd be walking through, and I would walk up to the tray and be like, would you like a sample? And I'm like, okay. Can I have 3 for my 3 friends? God forgive me that I don't have any friends. I just took the equal price. I just wanted the free samples. So I take like the 3 samples, eat those. Of course, the point of the sample is what? So that you try it, you're like, oh, now the cinnamon and the sugar and the butter, it reached me. It reached my soul. So you head in, you go to the counter, and now you have a decision to make. Do I want the Minibon or the full-size Cinnabon? Am I going mini or am I going full-size? I already had 3 samples. And when I think about the Cinnabon strategy, it's simply that you could have a sample, a Minibon, or the full-size. That's like YouTube Shorts, 5 to 10 minute videos on YouTube and longer form videos on YouTube. It's all Cinnabon. So ultimately, the reason you can have a balance, like you can do search-based, and like it's just what promise has your channel made? You know, on this channel, we help you build your influence with video. By the way, we're 55 minutes and 42 seconds into a live stream right now. It's way different than like a much shorter video. Some people are mad. You can actually look in the back, or they just don't even see it, or they unsubscribe, or whatever. It is what it is. There's that new tactic. Let's dive into this before we get to our next guest, and then we're gonna hit these super chats as well. I see y'all. I'm fired up to this is important though. And I want to say, we talked about this last time, but it's important enough. I'll just give you the one analytic at this moment in the video, because this is a pretty big deal. So this is kind of fascinating. And if you go to your analytics, we'll be there together soon enough, I hope. I don't know how to get there anymore. Choose and watch your video. Rise when you're just out there. And did they literally delete this analytic from my backend? I swear this is deleted. It talks about like how many people watch shorts, how many people watch your videos, how many people. I know what it is. Okay, it is. All right, viewers across formats. So if you go to analytics, topics, overview content, you go to viewers across formats. Like for example, videos and lives, only 2% of this channel watches live streams. Only 2% watches both, and 96% comparing those 2 metrics watch videos, but they won't watch. I have to extend to you an incredible amount of gratitude for being here. You're part of the 2%. Can we put it up? PewDiePie bro fist. Like, let's just rock. Like, thank you. And so, anyways, if you look at like shorts right now, it's like over 50% just watch shorts and they don't watch other stuff. And that little mall rat only eats the samples and he never buys the Cinnabon. That's probably how you feel. Like, they only watch the shorts and they don't watch my long form videos. Relax. You just want people experiencing the Cinnabon strategy. So make search based, make long form, really edit your video, go live. Of course, dial in the order, but I think it's a matter of that the constant theme of all of the above is delivering the same value in different sizes and in different packages. All right, we're gonna bring on. Let me hit these super chats really quick. We have Sadiq. Hey Sean, live stream have any benefits in terms of getting discovered for new YouTuber with less than 50 subscribers? I would say no. I don't think live streams have very many benefits for getting discovered. The exception to that would be if you are a news channel and you could break news, that could help you. If you were going live, covering an event, why it's happening, you just are live streaming, people can jump on, and people have blown up live streams. If there's something relevant based on the niche of your channel, you're live reacting to a news ticker, you're bringing in photos and videos, that could be one way to do it. The other way to do it is really what we would call a real-time video. A lot of times you'll see me doing that. The first 15 minutes of Coffee with Cannell today was in a way a real-time video. I took some time to prepare my notes, prepare slides. And not only could that be cut out, but it makes the replay value of this very live stream 100x higher than just a normal live stream. There's an actual promise, there's actual content delivered, there's a good title, there's a good thumbnail. So there's some replay value there. Meaning, you only have 50 subscribers. So maybe no one watches live. But you go live, you're brief, you're bright, you're fun, and then you're done. And then ultimately people can watch it for weeks, months, and years to come. A live stream could be an evergreen video, but then it begs the question of why make a live stream? Why not even just extemporaneously record for 30 minutes? It'll be better edited. I've worked on my communication skills, but I'm still 100 times better edited. In fact, y'all probably know I'm a little bit long-winded. I did this one training, it was 33 minutes long. Nathan on the Think Media team, he made it 7.5 minutes. That just goes to show that I probably 3x how long things could be. Maybe it's more like 4x. Relax, pal. Like, it's Victoria is judging me. That's the Think Media team. But so why go live when you could just edit the video? So I don't think leaning into too much live streaming at 50 subscribers has much value. Try to make your best videos shorts, regular videos. Okay, Andy, I'm going to hit your super chat in a bit. I have it saved, but I am going to bring on, I believe, Shiyu. Is that how I say your name?
You can just call me Shiyu, yeah.
Shiyu, thanks for coming on, man. Let me also try to get links to channels in my studio chat, and I think I have it. I do. So what's your question?
So, for my videos, I cover a game 2 months, so I'm thinking whether search-based content is worth it, because what I cover could be irrelevant in like a few months' time when the next update comes. So I just want to ask what your thoughts are on that.
Well, first of all, a couple things. One, I love your design, your eye for design already. The minimalism on the thumbnails, like just 3 things, is great. The cover image, the clarity is all great. I do want to, future cast a little bit and say that being fully built on one game has some vulnerabilities to it. It also is, I guess, a superpower in a sense because it's such a specific value proposition. But just something to think about, like, where's this game in 10 years? But you can always pivot to something that the audience would also love as well. I think that search-based could still be relevant, so let's dive into some things. It's Clash of Clans.
This is actually very interesting. This is actually Clash Mini, which is a beta game, so it's actually not globally released yet.
Okay.
So it has a very small audience right now because it's not published to the whole world yet. So even you can't play it because you're in the US. So
Okay.
that's very
Let's just answer. I can go a little bit deeper, but let's answer your question at least first. You've already answered it. You're saying, how can I do search-based content? Well, your top viewed video is a search-based video. How to download Clash Mini. and it has over
Yeah.
148,000 views. I know it took a year to get there, but like it sort of proves my point. What do you think? I mean, like that's like literally your best video is in terms of views is a search-based video.
Honestly, I don't think much about that, but yeah, I think there is a way. That's kind of like a few examples that really work for search based with at least this beta game is not ever been downloaded. But in terms of in the future, I think this could struggle a little bit. But I'm just hoping to see what you think about this.
Okay, so let's talk about it now. Now we're going to talk. One of the best ways to come up with search-based video ideas is the YouTube search bar and with autocomplete that happens from Google and YouTube. So if we go to search and we type in Clash Mini, by the way, this is also proof that people are looking for Clash Mini search terms. So the most popular is they're looking for the best deck. Now, fair enough. This is 2 weeks ago. These are not like super old videos. Maybe the deck's always changing. But one of the ones that stood out to me here, Clash Mini, like iOS download 2023. Did you make your download video last year?
Oh, it was like 2021.
Yeah, so I think that when we also talk about something being search-based, it doesn't mean it has to be search-based for like 10 years, but it could be relevant for an entire year. So what are some of the things that are going to be repetitively searched, not just on YouTube, but on Google for 6 months, you know, and that's at least more lifespan than perhaps a video that tanks and, you know, not tanks, but like does like, you know, 1,800 views. Maybe it only gets 1,800 views, but it's still relevant next month and the month after and the month after, because it's like maybe a download 2023, which reinforces, you know, that top video that you had forgotten about having the most views. I think that you're definitely onto something, though. It would seem that most of the action happening here is related to, it's all like constant. It's very much kind of chasing things that are most recent. But let's go a little bit deeper. So anybody following along can do this with their own niche or their own topics. If you go Clash Mini, you can go _ before space, and it'll say how to get Clash Mini, which does your video show up for that. You could still try to rank for that, maybe. Is this you?
Yep.
Yeah, so you already do. So that's a great example. So how to get Clash Mini, and this is put a little _ and then maybe would a monk deck exist for a whole year, or is it always changing?
I mean, again, I think it really depends on like what the game is, because obviously like some characters will change and how they work is going to change, so that means the videos aren't going to be too relevant. So I think that is just my biggest concern.
Yeah, well, and a good point of this conversation is the bigger YouTube conversation in general. What is the longevity of my niche? Like, how concrete? What is the lifespan of this? What is the shelf life, not of just this video, but what is the shelf life of this whole topic, of this whole game? You also are, in a way, making a bet, and it could be a very smart bet, because it sounds like if this game goes global, you've got a head start. You've got, you know, some things that are happening. I do think it would be nice to rank for Clash Mini gameplay, and I do wonder if, again, there's maybe certain people, these people have huge millions of subscribers. I think that highlights, these are just different things I've learned, high-level gameplay, and that might not be a desire of people, and that's just what we're after. Like, sometimes maybe people want to see a highlight. I liked your topic that you did on like 16 secrets or something. How long will that last?
That is really a news video, because that video is 16 secrets on the update that you don't know.
Okay.
I have done other stuff like that would be a bit habit or evergreen sort of value, and they have been living on the search. So I'm trying to experiment on that. So
I think this is a really cool conversation, because it speaks to the nuances of also is there even really super search based? If something's even brand new, like how searched is it? And this goes back to the idea that like it's also not the only strategy. I think there's something to um, uh, the success leaves clues in your own video library. We say success leaves clues, make part twos, and an update about downloads. But if your positioning of your channel is more news-based or current-based, and this is a developing situation, right? It's a developing game. It's a developing. So, if the game matures, breaks through, goes global, then it also would, I mean, just think about something like, so you have Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is now a couple years old, and then it's also a new games coming out, so it'll go through peaks and valleys. So the Sephiroth, let's go like Sephiroth hard mode. So people will be constantly probably finding this and needing to find it. Three people are like, "Is he joking?" Yeah, okay. So there's a joke. It's a joke. Listen, I personally think that I would keep it all on the same channel. And it's a debate because who's right and who's wrong, I don't know. I mean, JRE Clips versus Joe Rogan, well, it doesn't matter because Joe's on Spotify, but he's allowed to have the Clips channel. Valuetainment, Patrick Bet David, I mean, he does separate out the PBD podcast on a long channel, but then Valuetainment, he also has Valuetainment Clips, but they're at scale doing it. Hey, I'm as uncomfortable as you are. I mean, everybody here, and I would love, like, could we do a poll? Serious question. Is Callisto here? All right, he's gone. I think he's getting his haircut. As he would. Just middle of the day. We get it. And so, like, I don't know. Let's know in the chat, though. Do you think your clips should be on the main channel or the second channel? I can tell you what we're doing. What we're doing at Think Media Podcast is we're keeping it on the same channel for the exact reason you're kind of describing. It's a discoverability opportunity. Someone finds that you guys are funny, they find your reaction to a moment, and then they subscribe, and then you see how well that translates to long form content.
Right.
So, personal. I mean, people are saying main, and main. Keep it in the funnel. Yeah, John. Well, so I mean, and that actually, if you said, Sean, what would you do? I would keep it on the main channel.
Right.
So with that, and someone even said because of the new changes. So that's interesting as well. I guess maybe because you can call it a podcast, so that's organized over here. Although now we're on the studio, you can call it a podcast. You can have videos. You can have shorts. You can have lives. So I think you can break it up. Now, my next point. First of all, thoughts. Is it painful? Would you move this stuff back?
You know, I've been thinking about it for a while. Really, I think since I saw initially you talking about this in a video, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it, mostly because we've got like almost 350 episodes on the other channel. And so, do you think it would be beneficial to just start 351 on this channel and just let the other one live where it's at?
I thought, or go the other direction. Start putting clips on the other one that's smaller.
And then don't do clips on this channel and just do other videos like reactions and such?
I'm just as uncomfortable as you are. I mean, this is one of those where, like, okay, thing one. I think thing one would be keep it all on one channel.
Right.
Thing two, okay, which channel? I mean, perhaps, perhaps the new one. You start the podcast on the new one. In the time we have here, we could debate this, and all of these thoughts are good thoughts. And I know that I think this conversation adds value to listeners because they debate the same thing. What's my brand? Where is it? What's my promise? Where does everything go? I definitely think that thing one is get it all on one channel. And then I have some final thoughts here as well.
Go for it.
Thing two that I would love to see is one, I think thumbnails are a little too busy.
Right.
Generally, I also think, it's like, so you guys are both in it. I do like it when maybe one of you is in it. I also think would be interesting is, I know it's a reaction, so the idea that you're teeing that up. I think that you could play around though by just eliminating things out of the thumbnail.
Right.
Like even just new trailer breakdown on this without is that you?
That's actually my friend. That's a clip from the podcast.
Yeah.
So that's not an actual reaction.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, if it is a new trailer breakdown or whatever it is, like, let me put it this way: I would love this thumbnail if all it said was new trailer breakdown and it just had the homie from there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a lot less happening. Like, it's less like okay, and so I think there's some opportunity there, and then I think the next opportunity is maybe summarizing the whole thing is just the polishing and leveling up of your whole workflow. And here's what I mean.
Okay.
It's like, is your podcast, if it's not really crushing at 1 hour and 26 minutes, what does it look like to do the 25-minute version? Is if you started doing parts, if you switched up your show format, like you've been doing 350 episodes, and I think there's something about, if you will, pivoting, and I think that we have this. Maybe have you listen to our Think Media podcast about like when to quit, when to stick,
right,
and are in with a lot of good things. You've got a whole workflow down, you've got the microphones, you've got the editing. But I think it's about improving that entire process and then reworking it. So you're committed to the vision, and to me the vision seems strong. You got the passion. Y'all love the entertainment. You love these media, all this kind of stuff. You have so much opportunity to tap into trending culture. But if you're dropping 53 views or 43 views on an hour 34, what happens if you divert your energy to, if you will, create a new show? A different show, same premise, but like different length, different value proposition, different way you do it, a different approach, challenge to it, like amount of Easter eggs in it or whatever. I think that could help things take off. And so consolidate on one channel, kind of take a step back and think about, okay, with our value proposition, what is it we're trying to accomplish here? What can we learn from some of our best performing stuff? And then just the small tweaks of like improving, like little pieces at a time. Maybe refining the brand a little bit. Like I think like why is The Chosen selling rights? I think that there's that's a great question. I also wonder, that sounds like a clip more to me than an hour and 90. I'm sure that there's 90 minutes to talk about that. But what has resonated most? You definitely have kind of probably a diehard audience. Like you have a core group that's really into what you're doing. I think I would also maybe survey them a little bit. And by survey them, I mean like community tab, but I mean like on both channels. You've never posted on a community tab on this channel. Ask a question, ask a poll, and see what people are looking for. But even like get a focus group going, hit up your audience and see if they could all jump on Zoom with you.
Okay.
And talk about, pull out unbiased feedback, and say, I want you to just rip us to shreds. Like, what do you think would make our show stronger? Please don't hold back. You want people that'll just, like they'll just tell you the truth, and they're also like not. You're like, I'm not here for the encouragement. I'm here for just like your feedback. Like, what do you think about the hooks? What do you think about the opening? What do you think about the content? You start doing different like surveys, perhaps, where you could go to the community tab and say, do you want the videos to be like a poll? Do you think our podcast, which they're not even there, but you get, would you prefer the show be 90 minutes? 60 minutes or less than 30, and you just see the votes, and maybe within those subscribers, because polls do so well, you get 333 votes. And that, I think, the tweaking, because in summary, I really think you're onto something, but I feel like it's still it needs some massaging, and to come out with the 2.0 version and the 3.0 version of what it is you're doing, because I think great things are ahead as you dial in these details.
Awesome. That's very helpful. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, and I'll be praying for you and your family.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, take care. All right, Coffee with Candle. We got Alex here in just a second, but let me know one of your aha moments. You know, we talked about search-based content. We've been answering some questions. We've been drinking coffee and some BCAs. Let me know what you're drinking. But I'm curious because we're hashtag action takers at Think Media, meaning we don't just get information, but we are all about implementation, about applying what we're learning. So what idea do you have for your channel? What do you need to improve next? You're working on your thumbnails? You're working on your content strategy? What do you need to do next? Subscribe to Think Media Podcast? Did you even know we have a podcast? It's been 3 years, and you're here, and you didn't know we had a podcast? Besides being personally offended at you and hurt, I understand. And there's you could totally redeem yourself. And I'm not just asking you to subscribe for me. Legitimately, I think you will find it super valuable. Like, for example, we uploaded our ultimate 12-step video checklist today. I want to say, and this was like, it took me a long time to learn this, like years of just making it more efficient, going through our ultimate checklist and many other things on the Think Media Podcast channel. It's not this channel. It's our whole other channel with some banger content that will help you reach your YouTube goals. That could be an action item, but I don't know what it is that you're up to or what you're working on or what you're doing. I listen to every new upload. Andy, my man. Brofist. Just like that guy. Inside PewDiePie jokes or whatever. Okay. In the comments of the live chat, if you're on the replay, hit me hashtag replay, fam. I need to actually post John being real. That's great. We talk about it all the time, John. Thanks so much for sharing it. One of the secrets to success on YouTube is uploading videos on YouTube. John nailed it. And that is a huge key. Views, gonna be working on getting those views, and I love that. And I love that you're saying. I've already subscribed. South Florida Sunshine, sending you love. I really appreciate it. Okay, we have Alex in just a second here, but I do need to hit Flight 4 Reality with the super chat. Thank you. About niches. Is it niches or niches? Are the riches in the niches or the niches in the riches? Let me know in the comments. My videos are about culture, politics, and news history. Example channel, Big Think. Topics vary, but appeal to the same type of person who cares about academic topics. Is this a viable niche? Thing one that you did really good is find a channel that you can model after. So he said, example, Big Think. If somebody has proved that their channel works, that is good to know. I think then thinking about, okay, what is it about their channel? They're pulling, they got 5 million views. This is the Big Think channel. Cool name too, huh? What are they trying to do? Big Think, Think Media? What do you want to fight? They have more subscribers, I guess they win. So they also have almost 9,000 uploads. This must be like a major team. So I think that's something to, of course, reverse engineer. It seems kind of faceless, or like they have just different guests. Kind of journalism is very fascinating. Great thumbnails. So let's also see how they self-describe. It's the leading source of expert-driven, actionable, educational content with thousands of videos featuring experts ranging from Bill Clinton to Bill Clinton. The second thing they have going for them is Bill Nye, the Science Guy. So they're going to help you get smarter and faster. Who are you connected to? You get the world's greatest thinkers, actionable lessons. Now, as you probably know, because of OPC, other people's content, fair use, and the cool world that we're living in on YouTube, if you learn that skill set, you can get Bill Clinton under fair use. You know, the best tips of Bill Clinton. That'd be interesting. And Big Think for multitude of articles. So do I think it's viable? Well, it is viable. I mean, this is working. So you go, okay. I think that my biggest question would be, though, kind of like, reverse engineering the entire business model. Like reverse engineering, how hard is this going to be? And there's the one tip, and we'll get to that. That comes to mind that is very important from an entrepreneurship startup perspective, and it would be this. The MVP, not the most valuable player, but the MVP, I think, is something very important for all of the dreamers that are watching this right now. All of the people who have big aspirations, you're watching this right now. And flight from reality, I think MVP, what's it stand for? It stands for minimum viable product. I think that when, wanting to get something off the ground, this is like, I would let, can you look it up? Can somebody let me know? How big is this team? Can you look them up on LinkedIn? Like, is Big Think a company? I wouldn't be surprised if 100 people work there. And I think, like, how did it start? And I think that as you approach, because your videos are about culture, politics, I love all that, it's all cool. But reverse engineering back, and sometimes, like, I like that you're saying niche. I think if you're trying to go culture, politics, news, history, but you can't be an at-scale publishing company yet, because I'm guessing you don't have 100 people and $2 million in the bank. Then I think it might be just something about finding the niche within the niche, finding the niche within the niche, and figuring out how you're going to cut through. The point of the minimum viable product conversation is like, what you're asking is, how do I go from 0 to 1? That's a good point. How do I like get this thing off the ground? How do I create a video format that's impactful, but that's simple enough? And what is my shortest path to revenue? And then once I get there, what can I do from there? Even what we're able to accomplish at Think Media, there's like stages to it. As soon as I was reviewing tech videos, ranking them in search, connected to reviewing tech and cameras and camera tutorials and lenses and all of that stuff, affiliate marketing, ranked in search, 6-figure income. Did not take the money and go buy a new car. I took the money and started to hire people and reinvest in the business. And continue to do that and continue to compound and continue to think about, okay, how can we invest into the next level or whatever, the future. And so figure through the stages of it. Minimum viable product is how do you get to that first level. Then I took what I knew and packaged in an online course, by the way, which is then the next step was like, I had proof of concept, I had ranked videos, mastered search-based content, done it for years, reached 6 figures of income without selling a course, like all this stuff. And then I was like, okay, let me package what I know into what's called Video Ranking Academy. Cool. And then that was also a jump up in revenue, which was a jump up of reinvesting. I know it's not exactly what your question is, but that's the advice I'd want to give you, is try to niche down and find a way to have a minimum viable product of a particular type of videos that works. I'm a little nervous by how broad it is, because Big Think has a big team. I don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing. And you don't want to compare your beginning to somebody else's middle. You don't want to compare and imitate. This is why people, it's obvious, but you shouldn't imitate Mr. Beast. You can't. Because he's got hundreds of people working for him, just hundreds of acres, and warehouses and studio sets, and he's spending 1, 2, 3, 4. He's losing money on videos by how much it costs him to make, but that he can make up the money with Feastables and Mr. Beast Burger. So again, if someone's like, well, I'm just going to copy him, like, what are you even talking about? Like, so you come back to the minimum viable product. That would be what I think about the most. What's the shortest path to revenue? How do I bring something unique to YouTube that I can do well, as my friend Roberto Blake says, that's also at a acceptable, it's at a level of quality that is expected for the niche. So I hope that helps. I appreciate your super chat too. Thank you so much. We have 2 more super chats and Alex. We're going to go to Alex right after this quick break. Listen, if you have not registered for the Tube 1K challenge, starts on Monday. Here's some details.
I want to invite you guys to our YouTube 1K challenge. You can join this challenge for free as we show you how to grow your first 1,000 subscribers and make your first $1,000 on YouTube. We've had countless people join us during this 1K challenge who are now at 1,000 subscribers and past 1,000 subscribers making money on YouTube. And you could be the next person. If you just go to tube1kchallenge.com, you can sign up for the very next challenge, and we can't wait to see you guys there.
That is at tube1kchallenge.com. Link in the description down below. We are starting soon. I'm pulling up Alex's channel. He's waited patiently, and we are ready. Alex, welcome to Coffee with Cannel. Tell us a little bit about you and what's your question today.
Right. Okay, so we have hey, Sean, how are you today? Hope everything's going well. yeah, the channel itself is about how-tos and tips and tools for exterior grade sheet metal installations, like metal roofing and siding kind of thing. And my question today, and also on point with the dad jokes today, I'm loving it. I'm dying over here. It's hilarious. You're very much an approved dad.
Thank you. That's my goal in life. I just
yeah, I'm dying over here. Everyone else is super awkward. I'm like killing myself laughing. Okay, so my question that I wrote in when during the intake here was, what's a good monetization strategy for a skilled trade channel? Much like Roger Wakefield, I think you've worked with him in the past. He's the expert plumber, and he's just going just nuts, bonkers with whatever he's doing. Not just his channel, but he's doing all kinds of stuff. So like, I want to mimic that kind of model, but I just find myself, my wheels are spinning. My focus is absolutely just off the rails because I see so much opportunity. But I got it, like you just said, with what Roberto Blake says, production value that fits the niche. Like, I need direction on what, where I'm at in my journey on YouTube and in my online business. What fits that part of my journey in terms of like content strategy? I resist posting really awesome videos that I know would do well on YouTube because I'm so worried about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as you like to say, right? So,
but why though? If you know these videos are going to be awesome, why are you hesitating?
Because I'm just worried that I'm limiting my online course content that I could put behind a paywall.
Okay.
So I was on one of the VRA. I guess it was a Q&A section. It was with forgive me, I forgot her name, but yeah, she plays the guitar.
Yep. Lauren.
And Lauren. Okay, so that session just blew my mind because she was like dropping some major knowledge bombs in terms of like what she posted her videos as her paid courses, and I was just like, how's that even possible? So anyways, I'll let you talk now because I know maybe you have hopefully have some wise wisdom to pass my way.
Yeah, so a couple things. So one, let's talk about these things in isolation. First thing, this fear of giving away information. It's kind of a myth. I think that you should put out your best information, and I think you should give away content that you would normally put behind a paywall, because what is provably true now over like decades of online and YouTube and everything else across multiple different niches is a lot of times the information can be very similar, but the format is different and people will pay for the format. Like, for example, if someone's going to come to like a live event, what you teach on stage, is it a lot different than maybe what people could get on YouTube? Well, chances are no, but what are they also paying for? They're paying for the focus, the experience, the trip, being there. When you watch on YouTube, you're multitasking and distracted. And so can someone get that same factual information watching someone's keynote that's uploaded to YouTube? Yeah, potentially. And if they're really disciplined, they could apply it. But also there's something that magic that happens when you're actually in the room. You're in a different emotional state. You're in a different place. So yeah, people will pay $1,000 ticket to be in a room for probably information they could get free online. Well, is there particular information in a book? Like, you could charge more for a online course than you can for a book, and people pay it. They'll pay $20 for a book on Amazon, but what's in the course? Is it the same thing that's in the book? Probably, but the book isn't videos with a voiceover explaining step by step. So the book's $20 and the course is $300 or $1,000. And what happens though is one person watching that is like, right now is like, aha, that's why I only watch your free videos. Yeah, cool. I mean, for sure. Like, a lot of times, people will get some great results doing that, but a lot of people also realize randomly trying to track down all the free information compared to the organization of it being inside of a course. And you don't get the community, you don't get the VRA community as well. So also the format of even our online course is not just the online course, it's also the workbook, which so it's like these, so the information where there is without a doubt in the 55 hours of Video Raking Academy, there is, you know, 50% of stuff that is not anywhere else free, but there's a lot of the big ideas out there, and people who invest in that program understand the value that when you pay attention. It's kind of like when I pay a personal trainer, a physical therapist right now rehabbing me. Mostly what he's doing is just making me commit to what I already know how to do. Like I'll just go work, I'll do the exercises that I could have just read in a book that I literally have built in person. So it's just these different levels. That's the biggest myth as it comes to like putting stuff behind a paywall. Some people will never go behind a paywall. Many people that are smart understand the power of going behind a paywall because it helps them go faster, or you get access to a community, or you get closer, or they just know if you pay attention. That when I download free information or I sign up sometimes a free class, it doesn't change me in some way. I'm actually paying a ridiculous amount to a business coach right now, who basically, he's doing a lot. Like, it's so funny because one of the things we do is we read a book.
Not a business coach. He's not a business coach from Fiverr, is he?
No, no, it's more like that times 1,000 a month. Yeah. So, and basically what we do though is one of the things we do is we have to read a book every month. And what's so funny is I'm like, this is the most expensive book club I've ever been a part of. I could just buy the book and read it. Why am I? But what I'm finding is the accountability, the feedback, and there's a lot of other aspects to it, but it's just like this internal humorous thing for me that I'm like, I heard him recommend the book on his social media. Why the heck am I on the intern? You know, because there's just different levels. Punchline, it's all of the above. The punchline is make the best course you possibly can, make the best YouTube videos you possibly can, give away great information in the moment. Like people wonder, am I holding back on Coffee with Ken? No, I'm going to give you the best information I can right now. One of the challenges about this moment is also we're going to talk for another 5 minutes, and we can't cover as much as we cover even next week in our challenge that's also free. That's 5 days. When you're trying to develop mastery in sheet metal, when you're trying to develop mastery in building a career or a sheet metal business or metal roofing, you don't get that in one YouTube video or even one course or even. So I think it's expanding our mindset that there'll be people who watch your free videos, eventually the course you build, eventually maybe you do like a business mastermind for business owners that want to, you know what I mean? Like, and some people can't afford that or will never do that, but there's 5 or 10 or 20 people who will. And the way you win is by just putting out incredible content that serves people at all of the different levels. So that's thing one. Don't be afraid of putting out your best content and putting out your best videos. What's your thoughts on that, Alex?
Well, yeah, you kind of just reminded me because basically it's people who pay attention, and that's just been more and more prevalent. Like as I'm kind of researching this topic and trying to find my answer to this question, is people like pay for the curation, they pay for the booklet, they pay for the community that's attached directly to me and all that stuff. So yeah, you kind of reminded me about that because I remember maybe it was you I heard it from too. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's land the plane on the Roger Wakefield strategy. I think the cool thing we can see with Roger is, this is how we can study a channel and get insights. Yeah. I mean, he's doing some incredibly smart stuff. And what I love about his channel is let's study his top videos of all time.
Yeah.
Number 1, let's make a note here.
Roger Wakefield.
If y'all haven't, exactly. If y'all haven't heard about him, the expert plumber, his most viewed video of all time is 4 years old and it has 4.3 million views, and it is a search-based video. I'm not trying to continue to repeat on the same thing, but if you're just watching now live, make sure to watch the replay of this and save this video, because during the first 20 minutes, we talked about the power of search-based content and 7 things you need to know. But again, people are forgetting about search-based content when it is incredibly powerful. But he more consistently gets multi-millions of views by making entertainment-based videos. Now, an advantage that he has is that that plumbing is so common, it's big enough, and there's crazy stuff that happens. Toilets explode, people have weird DIY hacks. So sheet metal, it's not as broad as this, and there probably wouldn't be as many fails and stuff online. But if we want to reverse engineer the model, what essentially he is tapping into, though, is reaction, OPC, other people's content, fair use. And then he's tapping into, I mean, here's a commercial, and he is combining that kind of stuff. He also is he's tapping into challenges, meaning, what is a challenge? It's kind of a funny thing. Is it the planking challenge? Is it the ice bucket challenge? No, like Mr. Beast has kind of mastered challenges by setting up stakes or parameters or a game or whatever, and he's doing it though. You can do challenges in your niche. Like, I am going to try to do something limited. I don't know if this would make sense, but like, I'm going to try to put a whole sheet metal roof up with handcuffs, my hands handcuffed. I don't know if that'd be a good video, but that's what kind of the challenge is. So he challenges himself to, so he reacts to scammers trying awful plumbing hacks. So he finds other people's content or viral TikToks and then redoes those things. You go, well, is he just doing random entertainment content? No, he's doing specifically plumbing hacks. So you could do like and
he debunks them, and I think he's adding value though too, right? It's not just
it totally,
you know what I mean?
So you might go, I don't know if it'd be relevant to go to roofing. You could react to like roofing, like in general, like roofs fall or structures fall, or it makes you think. Not that I suggest this, but this is a strategy conversation. Do I broaden out my channel to be more construction based or something? And what is it that I want to happen? Because if it is a little bit more broad, like one of the most valuable things any YouTube creator will ever figure out is they'll figure out a content format, and they'll dial in a format. They'll build around. By the way, the React channels themselves are legendary, and they have built out a format. So there's 20 million subscribers. Again, what's wild about it is that it is it's a consistent format where they can intersperse guests. Production has gone to a whole nother level.
It's like a show.
But they can intersperse guests. They've got a little list here going, reacting to whatever. The punchline is it's a repeatable format, and you're really onto something if you're not constantly trying to come up with some fresh YouTube idea and you're super stressed and wondering how long is this sustainable. React is like, what, 10 years old? Came out in 2007.
That model,
It's a model. So it's 16 years old and it's still going. They've had to innovate. They've upped their production value. They've upped the editing. They've upped the team. They've upped the whatever. That is the trajectory of a YouTube career. Find a format, reinvent yourself, improve things. Perhaps the format does end. It could expire, but this one hasn't. So Roger's kind of tapped into that. It could look like, oh man, what secret did he figure out? Well, there could be many, but I mean, a lot of it is the format, and then him finding out a lot more than, why he doesn't use shark bite fittings, which also got 900,000, but was also reacts to insane plumbing. Reacts. Notice, Real Plumber reacts. Reacts is in Success Leaves Clues. So we're seeing that on his channel. Any thoughts that come to mind as we talk about that, Alex? And land the
plane? Tons. So I think if you see the release date of the search-based, his highest most viewed video, because I've been studying him for a bit, his highest most viewed video is search-based, but it's the oldest, most popular video he has. So to me, he popped off out of search, and I think I'd love to see the analytics on that video, because I want to know when did search end and browse take it? Like, when did the browse algorithm take it? Because I don't know if search can give you that many views without the assistance of browse. I don't know, because I just had one pop off on my channel. It has 108,000 views. It was a product on Amazon that was just silly to start out with, and then all of a sudden people started going nuts. It was like a trending tool for 5 minutes, and my video was just in the right spot at the right time. So like, it was searched and then browse took it, just skyrocketed, right? It's that one there, the I had to video. It was my least edited, like, you know what I mean? My least production value video, you know? And, sorry, I have to connect back up here. I can't hear you. But the,
No, I didn't say anything. That's probably why.
There we go. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, so it's just, so where I'm at is I feel like I'm at the early stages where, like, Roger was maybe early stages figuring things out. I think he was heavily search-based focused, and then he popped off, and then he starts getting into these reactionary videos that also pop off. Like, what is that a possibility?
Yeah, so I love how we're gonna end here on this combo.
Yeah.
Is on the one hand, great job. This is a really cool story. On the other hand, what I love about this question is, I think how the way your mind is working, thinking strategies, you know, very strategically, thinking about your show formats. This is the obsession of everybody watching this right now. We're asking ourselves good questions. Why did this video pop off? How do I double down? How do I, you know, redo it? And then the questions go on and on. Where does my brand go next? What videos should I make next? You know, what is Roger doing? But this is what I want to tell you, Alex. There comes a point, and this is, I was just at an event called Forward Conference. I spoke out in Vegas at Resorts World, and I was like, if I showed you our Slack for Think Media, there is threads where we will debate about titles and thumbnails, and we'll go back and forth, and there could be 99 messages about it, and we'll analyze our analytics, and all of the above is good. But what's super funny is that when it's all said and done, I like to sometimes just say, who freaking cares? Let's just post some videos. Like, so here's what I mean. You're like, this particular video broke out. Why did it break out? When did it break out? And what happened? And those are good questions, and you should analyze it. But there comes a point too where your approach would be, try a React video like Roger, see if you could do one. Keep making some search-based videos as well. Make another video about how to walk safely on a roof. Keep doing them. Like, you have 5,000 subscribers. You're having incredible things happen. And if we get too obsessed, where yes, we should analyze what's happened in the past so we can repeat it. But part of it is also just kind of a volume game. It's best practices meets consistency, meets analyzing, making your next best informed decision, but then doing it again. So I do sense like a tinge of overthinking still trying to creep in, when ultimately I think your opportunity is to take this conversation and be like, okay, cool, let me get my next best idea based off the notes I'm taking, and then go apply it and see what happens. And then, okay, cool, let me see if I can double down on some tool-based videos. But what ends up happening, this happens to us too. We redo what we thought was going to work, and then we're like, why did that one be able to get 100,000 and the next one got 4,000? I don't know, let's make more. And so, like, not to be oversimplifying, but there is a point where you're just like, who cares? Post more videos. Always strategically, always intentionally, and always being informed by your previous videos. But for everybody that, you know, claims expertise on why this one worked or why that one, you know, didn't work, what I tell you is that those who just take massive strategic action can look back and be like, huh, a lot of those videos popped off. Brian just sent me a video of a live stream that I did as we were strategizing for some future stuff, and I had forgotten about it, and I want to say it was on our media podcast channel. And so I was brainstorming for the future, and this is a good tactic for, I think, all of us. Just like, look back at your life. Will I be able to find it? So full-time on YouTube, how I make $970 a day with simple YouTube videos, 110,000 views. So it's like 18,000, 4,000, 31,000, 3,000, 7,000. These are live streams. And then that one's over 100,000. And I totally forgot, and I hadn't studied it. So then I went back and we did like, you could see these. This is a tactic. Even moments of like, okay, what about this video? I'm wearing the same shirt. That's the key. I'm wearing the same denim shirt.
This video is gonna pop off, man.
That's who would have thought to write it down. This denim shirt right now on eBay being bid on is the key. So like, I go back and by the way, so the lesson here is I'm saying that these audience retention spikes maybe tell you like, okay, is that a story I should tell again? Like, is that a tactic I should teach again? But whatever. We spun off into analyzing it, and I was like, okay, sick. Like that, there was a lot of clues there, and I have some very fresh insights now that I'm basing it off of a previous successful video. Success leaves clues. Make part twos or double down on what it is. But it might bomb for me, meaning I might get 10,000 views. But my hope is to like re-up another 100,000 to 250,000 view video, because I did take extrapolate a lot of insights. Here's the point though. What have I done since then? Uploaded freaking videos. I've gone live, I've uploaded videos, I've done my best, uploaded some shorts, uploaded some videos. So I'm kind of it's a both and thing of like strategize, analyze, but then just take massive action. And I want you and everybody listening to also hear that as well. That like, I don't know, what's going to be the key? I don't know. Post some videos. Like, I don't know, maybe post your next best video possible based on everything you know right now. How do you feel about that, Alex?
It feels great. I know you're trying to wrap things up, so I just want to say hope to see you in Grow with Video Live this year. I'm glad you guys are bringing it back. Is it going to be around the same time of year?
Yeah.
Is that the whole idea?
May 2024. And right now, if people want to jump on, make sure to get on, I think, the waiting list. We're going to do like a crazy, like really good day one early bird pricing. So if you want to be notified, just name and email. You can share your phone or not, just to get a text. But yeah, it's going to be spring 2024, Las Vegas. And yeah, I'm super
I didn't know there was a website already. Sweet.
Yeah, growwithvideolive.com will get you there to jump on the wait list. We're like probably in less than 30 days, we will lock a location and some of the initial speakers. It's gonna be awesome. So
awesome. Looking forward to it. I'm gonna try and make it down.
Appreciate you, Alex. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Thanks for your time, Sean. Have a good one.
You as well.
Peace out.
Yes. Okay. We have a couple more super chats. If we haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button. I told Kyle and Victoria that I like to end the stream in under an hour for the replay value, but if I go over, then I'm like, okay, the next time is 90 minutes, because then I think about like, does somebody want to click on the replay of a 1 hour and 15-minute video? And then I was like, other than that, let me get it under 2 hours. But now we're at 2 hours and 44 seconds, and so it is what it is. But the denim shirt is here, so now we know that I got 100,000 views wearing this denim shirt on a live stream in the past. And again, ebay.com, look up my Sean Cannell account. The current bid is $964 if you are interested in this extremely average worker denim shirt. Okay, super chat. Here we go, Dave. On a personal note, is Sonia okay right now? A recent post on another platform has me worried. I hope she's okay. Dave, I appreciate you asking. It has been a crazy week. And so I was hanging out with my wife yesterday. She's been in the hospital. I'll give you all an update. And she's doing amazing last night, joyful, and actually kind of pumped to stay in the hospital one more night, because if you have kids, you know that perhaps being in the hospital alone, being fed, is better than not better, but you know, moms understand that the struggle is real there. So yeah, and so She's coming home today though. Her dad is picking her up, and it's been a gnarly story. I won't tell the whole story here, but you can see the whole story on Instagram at Sean Cannell if you're interested. And yeah, it's been a gnarly week. I'm just getting back to work today, and super grateful for the Think Media team. And it's been a crazy, crazy journey. We feel very loved and supported, though, by friends and family. And I really appreciate you asking Dave. And we've just felt an onslaught of support from our community. And so thank you, Think Media. If you knew about that, it's been more kind of on my Instagram. And yes, she's doing okay. And we were having dinner last night and whatnot. And then she's like, I'm going to stay here one more night. And that's what the doctor thought as well. But everything, one game, but the game is old and it's slowly dying. But I want to move to another game, but I'm scared to take that leap. It's a good question. It's a hard question. But let me ask you this. If you knew for a fact that the Titanic was sinking, and you knew you had a limited time to get off on a lifeboat and live, or you could stay on the beautiful ship with beautiful artwork and furniture, and just ride that thing out until you died, which path would you choose? It's a hard question. It kind of is, because you're like, the Titanic's nice though, and this water is cold. If you know that the future is inevitable, this is a good leadership question. Sometimes, like, we know what the right decision is to make, but it's so painful to make it that we procrastinate it away. We don't want to face it. We just kind of like, well, I hope it's okay. The ship is sinking. I hope we're going to be all right, though. It's super common. Like, I don't know if y'all watching this right now, you can relate to that, but like, leaders got to know. I've been in a lot of different organizations. We just got to ignore the writing on the wall. I mean, look at Kodak, the camera company. Like, look at Blockbuster. Like, seeing things like Blockbuster didn't buy Netflix. They could have bought Netflix for pennies on the dollar compared to the billions of dollars it's worth now. And it was like the world was changing, things were shifting, and they just thought they'd ride it out. In fact, it's a really great story. I think the CEO at the time was, I'm not suggesting you're this way, but was notably kind of arrogant, cocky, and overconfident. Kind of clear by not maybe seeing that we're going to be big forever, we're going to be good forever. You've already identified that the game is old, it's slowly dying, and then here's your options. Well, maybe it gets a second wind. Maybe, and that's also a lot of times why we procrastinate things away. Well, hopefully things change. Hope is not a strategy. Well, maybe things will turn around. Maybe they will, but what can you control right now? Maybe the Titanic hole will fix itself from the iceberg and it'll just bubble back up. And perhaps this never happened in history. It's not the way that science works. There's literally like the hole has been pierced and we're taking on too much water and we're going to sink. But maybe, maybe. So as much as this is more your decision than, of course, anybody's, you could play the odds that it'll revive, or you could start getting ahead. And the sooner you take the bitter pill, the sooner you embrace the suck and just be like, okay, this sucks. I've invested a lot in this. I've built up a lot of momentum here. This is painful. This is hard. But the writing is on the wall. The future is certain, or the highest probability is that this is going to die and the game is old and it's not going to be relevant, is pivoting to the next thing. Take your learnings, cut your losses. It's the sunk cost fallacy. And also sometimes when we've invested time, money, energy, pain, our life, all this stuff, that's also how emotionally connected we get to things. So we get so into it that we're also like, I'm already 5 or 10 grand, 20 grand into it. I mean, I'm going to put more in. Maybe this will turn around. And what they would say eventually, like, sunk cost is just biting the bullet and being like, okay, this is time. You ever had a lemon vehicle? Like, I remember I had this Volkswagen Passat, 1999 or something. I sold my one car. I bought this car because I thought it looked cool. from the sketchiest dealership in Seattle. Like, it was super sketchy. And the first thing, because I'm lazy, that I did was the worst thing. I drove it off the lot in Seattle, and I drove it back to Marysville, Washington, and I pulled it into Safeway. Someone ran up to me and they said, "Did you know that, like, oil is hemorrhaging out of your engine right now onto the ground? Like, it's literally just gushing oil onto the ground, like at an extreme amount." So I was like, "Really?" So I drove across the street to Jiffy Lube, luckily, and I was like, "I need an oil change." And more than that, I like actually need oil, because that's what engines need, and there is no longer any oil. I've been leaking it up I-5, and like gallons on the top, liters, few, and so they were also like, the cap was wrong, things were wrong, and this was fresh off the dealership of buying this used car. I think there's a law that allows you to return a car within a certain amount of time, and the best case, I should have turned around and been like, there's an issue here or whatever, but I was like, I'm sure it'll be fine. And Jiffy Lube, they had to I had to pay them like a couple $100s to like fix whatever was happening. But that was the beginning of the car from hell. Like, the following was like electrical issues, and then it was like, fix the alternator, fix that, didn't work, fix this, didn't work, and it was hundreds and thousands of dollars sunk into this vehicle. And I kept being like, but eventually there will be a time where won't the trauma stop? Won't it stop? It never did. My friend Anthony bought the car, got in a wreck. He's okay. And the best thing that ever happened to that car was it got totaled, and like the insurance was able to like trade it for a Geo Metro, because anything would have been better so long as it actually ran and didn't whatever. Where are we? We're talking about sunk cost. So we're talking about like, there is a time to like cut your losses, be like, that sucked. And so that was a little dramatic in answer to your super chat, but I would encourage you that if you know it's slowly dying, it's probably time to move on to another game. But this isn't everything that seems like a problem, an obstacle, something that's painful, is also an opportunity. Like, really, there's a cool Jocko Willink song. Look, for you, the real ones at Big Media, look it up later. On Spotify, look up, it's like a remix by a DJ. It's called Good. Big Media team will know this one. If you're new, like Victoria, maybe you've never heard it. This is our anthem. And it's, I wonder if we can link the Spotify and Apple song up in the description. And so it's the Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual, whatever. And I don't know, Good, is it the actual Good? Oh, it's Akira the Dawn. This is it right here. Yeah, Akira the Dawn. It's called Good, and it's the idea here in this song is game's growing old, and it's slowly dying. Good. It's an opportunity to pivot to another game. Oh, it's like my niche is it looks like it's losing a little bit of steam. Good. Everything I've learned so far on YouTube, I can reinvent into the next thing that I do. I've built so much momentum up on this channel, and I actually may need to start a second channel because of who the subscribers are. Good. I've learned so much, and I've developed so many different insights that this next thing that I start is going to be so much more informed. This next thing is going to crush. Like, there's always the perspective to look at your problems or your obstacles as opportunities. Like, hidden in every obstacle is the seed of equal or greater opportunity if you'll see it, water it, and cultivate it. And so, yep, I think you get it. By the way, so as we land the plane, unless you just want to bet on like the Titanic reviving itself, if that's the facts of the situation, you need to take the lead. And the sooner the better. Like, the sooner you rip the Band-Aid off, the better. And you can reinvent yourself. You can pivot to another game, rebrand the channel, align it as much as possible. It's going to suck either way. It's kind of like changing. I'm going long here. We're already 2 hours. I told you, once we go past 2 hours, I see my next limit is like 2 hours and 30. But like, you can, it's kind of like changing the name of your brand. Like, working at churches, I remember, like, if the church wanted to change their name as the communications director, I was like, I was biased if they said, I think we should change our name. I was like, I don't, because I'm like, the implications. You gotta change the freaking Instagram. You have to change the Yellow Pages. We got to change the website. The URL is wrong. We got to change the address. We've changed the name. Are you out of your mind, Pastor? What do you mean change the name? Like, do you understand? Oh, it's easy for you to say, I think we should change the name. I'm the director of communications, and I don't think we should change the name. Because the long tail, did you know when we started the Think Media podcast that it was called the Think Marketing Podcast for a year? Because I'm dumb and I didn't listen to wise people around me. I was like, well, I kind of want it to be like about marketing. And I think, and I have people like Tony Ariola and Kyle Anderson being like, yo, dog, why don't we just call it the Think Media Podcast? Because that's like what our brand is. And so not only was I dumb, but we spent a year of naming the channel. And I mean, it may not have seemed that painful, but do you know how much angst I went through thinking about, like, we got to change the name, we got to change the graphics, and what about the 100 episodes that have the old name? Like, if you go back, like, go to Think Media Podcast. Maybe it doesn't seem that extreme, but this is the real stuff, right? Go to oldest, right? Welcome to Think Marketing with Sean Cannell and the Think team. The Think Marketing Podcast. Now it's the Think Media Podcast, because who would have thought that, like, that's actually been the name of our company? And sometimes the obvious answer and the simple answer is the best answer. It sucks sometimes to pull the Band-Aid off and change the name, change the brand, make the pivot. But I feel like this answer to this question isn't just for this individual, a King's Creation. This is for somebody who's delaying making the move you know you need to make, because that season is over. That stream is dried up, going down. But the future is bright, but you need to pivot. Like, you need to get repositioned for the future. You need to innovate and adapt. And you need to just embrace the suck of changing the name and changing the strategy, changing the game. You got to embrace whatever it is, and then realize what you'll realize is here's what's waiting for you. Of course, I can't guarantee where you'll be or the growth or whatever, but, like, it doesn't even matter it was called Think Media Podcast, because eventually it just gets buried. The point is when you just hit the gas and you accelerate into your future, the past disappears. You can dig it up if you go to oldest. Thank God they brought the button back. Were you frustrated? Like, why'd they take oldest away? Thank God, like, you could go back and you could see the history, but now, like, I think, I don't know, do we get like 5,000 subscribers a month or something? All relative, and, you know, just saying that gratefully and humbly, whatever, like, growth, and I know it's all different. Don't compare yourself. Don't compare your beginning to, you know, all of the above. But my point is this. We got 6,364 subscribers in the last 28 days. People didn't know about the Think Marketing Podcast. So, like, a King's Creation, your future is forward. A new game is a chance for new subscribers. A new strategy is a chance for new impact. And it's much more about where you're going in the future than, I know there's past nostalgia, there's past fans, there's past subscribers, there's all that kind of stuff. And it's painful, but it sounds like you know what you need to do. The point is to courageously embrace and go into your future and just deal with the issues as they come. Oh yeah, that's also outdated too. I had to fix the bio. Oh, I haven't changed my about page. Like, forgot that was based on the old channel. Like, as things come up, just fix them as you go. But it's time to press the gas and embrace your future. My friends, I'm so glad the old button is back. We're here. Yeah, I appreciate it. Coffee with Cannell. We have a super chat to hit. We're landing the plane, and the pivot is real. I feel you. It's pivot time, Christian Kudnick. Thank you for being here. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. As far as a couple, I am African. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Praying for your wife. Thank you. Sincerely, it means the world. I really appreciate you. Should see her in about 30 minutes as she arrives home. Can't wait. Elephant though 999 says, I have some brain of my niche ideas. Like, just what does he mean by the emoji, or what do they mean? I have some thoughts. Yeah. There is a talk bubble emoji though. That's like the thinking bubble, but I have some brain of my niche. Like, I'm like super literal. I have some thoughts of my niche, but issues with organizing and conveying. Any new video from Big Media about how to organize a YouTube video knowledge to make a video? Well, let's land the plane with the Amazon strategy when it comes to finding your niche. This isn't about how to organize a video, it's about how to find your niche, though. And I do think that if you are having a lack of clarity about how to communicate your niche, it's probably not a good niche yet. You haven't developed it well. And here's what I mean. If it's hard to explain your business, if it's hard to explain your YouTube channel, if it's hard to explain your podcast, if it's hard to explain and takes longer than an elevator pitch to convey your idea, it's not a good idea yet. Like, there might be a good idea in there somewhere, but it's not a good idea yet if it's hard to explain. The Amazon test for niches for YouTube channels is simply this. You go to Amazon, you go to the book section, and then you look at the type of books that exist in the world. These are concrete, proven, millions of books have been sold in every category, and you ask yourself, is my YouTube channel business and investing? Is it a health, mind, body channel? Is it religion and spirituality? Is it home and garden? Is it cooking? Is it computers? And then you ask yourself and you go, okay, it's business and investing. And you click on that on Amazon and you realize as you go inside of a category for books. By the way, there's entertainment in here. There's all that kind of stuff in here as well, right? As you click inside, where is it? It is gone. You should be able to go like this. Business and money. Ah, yes. Here we go. Left side of the screen. Accounting, business and history, business culture, economics, finance, human resources. And you see the niches within the niches. Real estate, great niche. Taxes, a channel about saving taxes for business owners, great niche. Management and leadership channel, amazing. And sometimes you can click in and go even deeper. Click on management and leadership and you start going, okay, business ethics. Now, these might also be series ideas. They might be topic ideas. This exercise is simply designed to help you look at, is it more about management? Is it more about decision making, or is that going to be a playlist that I do? But here's my point. If you are creating a niche on YouTube and you can't go find a pre-existing clear indication that lots of people are interested in this thing, you got to keep working. You got to keep working. So if you're having trouble explaining it, go make it concrete. If you want more help on that, we're actually going to be covering that on our free challenge as well. And I know it's actually very hard to clarify our niche, clarify what your topic is, etc. And so I would recommend it. I hope that helps. Then your videos flow out of that. But if you've got some thoughts in your niche, but issues organizing and conveying it, that's going to be the next step. If that sounds interesting too, and you want to be a part of our challenge, I think we can hit this again, and we'll land the plane here. And you're not registered, check this out.
I want to invite you guys to our YouTube 1K challenge. You can join this challenge for free as we show you how to grow your first 1,000 subscribers and make your first $1,000 on YouTube. We've had countless people join us during this 1K challenge who are now at 1,000 subscribers and past 1,000 subscribers making money on YouTube. And you could be the next person. If you just go to tube1kchallenge.com, you can sign up for the very next challenge. We can't wait to see you guys there.
Tube1kchallenge.com is the URL to register for the Tube 1K challenge. And super excited about that. My friends, this is the Coffee with Cannell show, where I drink not coffee today, but it is still the show. And we will have guests on in the future, as we did. We'll have Q&As in the future, as we did. I want to thank you for all the super chats and all the guests that came on. And we're trying to bring the show back weekly. I'm thinking we hit 3 times a month. I think that that's a lesson in and of itself. I'm like, let's hit it weekly. But if we do 2 times a month, it's better than 0, you know? So do I upload every week? Dude, just upload videos, okay? Relax and upload some videos. Well, should I upload it on Tuesday or Thursday? Upload some videos. And then register for the Tube 1K challenge, because it's going to be worth your time. So tube1kchallenge.com is where that's at. Sending you massive love and respect and appreciation. The niches are in the reaches. That's right. I agree with you. Daphne, really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. And yes, it's time to crush. Tube 1K challenge is the next area to go to. I don't know how to get that banner off the screen. Maybe I'll just leave it up there. My name's Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel. Appreciate you. I will see you in a future Coffee with Cannell episode. Join me starting Monday for the free live challenge and the Think Media team. It's going to be incredible. Smash like if you got value in this video, and I will see you.
And we are live. Hey everybody, this is Roberto Blake. Hope you're doing something awesome today. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about how to build a successful YouTube channel. We're going to be exposing some of the secrets of full-time content creators. If you're new here, my name is Roberto Blake. I try to do a live stream at least once a week, and I post content whenever I can to help you become a better content creator and go full-time with this. My friend Nick Nimmin is not streaming today, so I decided I would fill in on a Saturday. So here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into everything. I've got my live stream set up here. Definitely will be taking your super chats if anyone wants to do that. I'm also going to be enjoying the lovely frosted lemonade, so that is what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, something I can tell you from long time experience of doing 1,600 videos on this YouTube channel, almost to 600,000 subscribers, is one thing I can definitely do is I can show you real analytics, break down the behind the scenes of a YouTube channel. And the other thing that I can do is I can also help you understand why some content creators are successful and others are not. Because I know it's something that people think is confusing, and a lot of people attribute this wrongfully, in my opinion, to luck, when actually it really comes down to math more than luck. And people use all kinds of weirdness to try to justify the stance on YouTube being luck. And what they'll do is they'll throw out things like survivorship bias. I don't think they actually understand the thing that they're talking about, because they're not looking at the commonality patterns of success. Now, like, I'm not going to completely say that survivorship bias doesn't exist. It's just that it's not really a thing that's indicative of success when we talk about being a content creator, because being a content creator is actually a profession. It's actual skills that you need to be a successful content creator. And the other thing is that people come up with subjective versions of being a successful content creator, and I kind of want to go against that. I actually do not want to attribute the subjective versions of being a successful content creator, because I don't think that it's actually helpful when you're talking about developing your career. If we talked about developing your career as a graphic designer, we would not use subjective measurements of being a successful graphic designer. We talked about being successful as a full-time writer, we would not be dealing in subjective measurements of being a full-time writer. So why do we have subjective measurements, subjective feelings-based metrics for being a successful content creator on social media platforms like YouTube, when we have an abundance of analytics to tell us? So I'm going to tell you what I define as a successful content creator through various levels of success. Various levels of success when we're talking about building yourself out to be a career-based content creator. Because, by the way, there is nothing wrong with being a hobby-based content creator. But we need to separate and differentiate between, I'm a hobby-based content creator, I want to do what I want to have fun, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. You're a hobbyist. There's no offense in saying you're not a serious content creator and you're not making the same commitments as someone who wants a career. It's no different than saying that you enjoy playing basketball versus you want to play for a team in the pro levels of the NBA and have a career. It's very different. Now, your odds are more, obviously, have better odds of being a content creator. But I make this point to say, if you want to be a successful content creator, one of the first things you should do is meet the monetization requirements for the platform that you're on. If it's YouTube specifically, you want to build a successful YouTube channel, meet the YouTube monetization requirements. So that is number one. Meet the YouTube monetization requirements. What happens is, if you can meet the YouTube monetization requirements, you get to go into this section called Earn. Excuse me, I got the sniffles a little bit. You get to go into the section called Earn, and then there's multiple ways for YouTube to pay you out if you get monetized. So that means now when you're doing something, you're not really doing it purely in hobby mode. There's potential for you to earn. There's actual potential for you to earn. So that means that when you make content, there's a way for you to make money from ad revenue. And if you're doing live streaming, you can earn from super chats, so you can get donation-based fan funding revenue. In either case, you can do memberships, so you can be paid by people who want to support you on a regular basis. You can get sponsorships, so you could work with brands. YouTube also has some internal tools for that called Brand Connect. You can sell directly to your audience with YouTube Shopping, even though you don't need YouTube Shopping to do that. And now if you do shorts, there's shorts feed ads. So it's another way for you to earn. So you have these different ways directly in the platform itself to monetize a YouTube channel. Technically, you have as many as 9 ways directly in the platform to monetize a YouTube channel. But there are multiple ways to monetize a YouTube channel that go beyond that. And there's a lot of different ways of selling directly to your audience. You know, we can talk about that. But what I would say is your first level and first step to being a successful YouTuber, building a successful YouTube channel, is meet the YouTube monetization requirements. 1,000 subscribers, and then either the monetization requirements being 4,000 hours of watch time or 10 million views. You can get the 4,000 hours in 12 months, or you can get 10 million shorts-based views in 90 days. I believe that the easiest thing to do out of those is just get the 4,000 hours in 1 year and make a plan around that. And I've talked a lot at length about how to do that. The basic formula for getting the watch hours, for anybody concerned about that, is if you make at least 100 videos in a year, and you can average, it won't happen for every single video, but the average across those videos is that by the end of a year, you can average to 100,000 views across all of the 100 videos, or however many videos you make. I call it 100 because it makes the math a lot easier. It makes the math easier to math if you do it that way. So, in fact, actually, what I can do is I can bring up I can probably make this. I wonder how big I can. I wonder if this will work. So what I could do is I could show you the math. Give me a second. I'm going to switch to a way to show you the math, to do a calculation, if I can. We'll see how big I can get on the screen. I'm going to try to show you a math calculation to get the watch hours for YouTube, okay? So if you can get 100,000 views on YouTube, 100,000, you get 100,000 views on YouTube. That's where I'm at zeros, just make sure. Yeah, you get 100,000 views on YouTube, right? And you know you have to get 4,000 watch hours. You need to be able to average 3 minutes average view duration across those videos, because that's going to give you 300,000 hours of 300,000 minutes of watch time. 300,000 minutes of watch time divided by 60 to get that down will give you more than enough. You'll be more than enough, because the 4,000 hours, minutes is in an hour, you need 240,000. You need 240,000 minutes. You need 240,000 minutes, right? If you can get an average view duration of 3 minutes across 100,000 views on YouTube, you get 300,000 minutes, so you're going to be well over the amount you need. And the reason you need to be over the amount, is because then you have a margin of error, because it's possible that not every video will be considered eligible watch minutes. So this means you pass the threshold of safety. Now, retention rates on YouTube are really difficult. So the thing is, if you make a, let's say, 12-minute video on average, but you can only get 30% retention rates, then that means that you're just going to barely cross the 3-minute threshold there. So that's what I would shoot for. I would shoot knowing that you probably are only going to get 30% retention if you're a small YouTuber, because you don't necessarily have the skills to retain people long on your videos, I would do this, and I would say, okay, I'm going to try to average my videos between 10 and 12 minutes, maybe between 9 and 12 minutes. And if I make videos between 9 and 12 minutes, and then I, throughout the course of a year, can accumulate 100,000 views with that kind of average view duration, I know that I've met the requirements in terms of the minutes watched required to get monetized on YouTube. So watch time, that's pretty straightforward. The other reason we're doing 100,000 views is because if we just can convert 1% of those people, we have our 1,000 subscribers. So that's the formula that I use to get YouTubers monetized. The formula that I use to get YouTubers monetized is we make 100 very intentional videos. We make 100 intentional videos. We plan it out. We try to stick to one audience for those videos so that we can milk the most out of it. So we stick to one audience, make 100 videos in a year for one audience. This is what's like difference between a hobby creator who hopes to blow up one day and a career creator that's like, I'm going to build a successful channel brick by brick, right? Is we build a system for our success. So we go ahead, and this is basically the study guide. This is just like any career. You want to be a graphic designer, you want to be an architect, you want to be a web designer, you want to be a photographer. You really don't leave anything to chance, and it's not really about how creatively talented you are. It's really about building systems for your career and building up your career and knowing what the minimum requirements are and what you have to do to be successful in your career field by objective measurements and by objective things that you can do. Okay? So it's easier to do this with a podcast. I actually got my podcast monetized with 1 month of effort. I got a podcast channel, and I monetized it with a month of effort because the average view duration on a podcast is so much higher that it was so much easier to do. So I did it with like maybe 25 to 30 uploads. But that's because the watch time amount and the average view duration was so astronomically high that I was able to do that. So it makes a difference. So again, like just picking one lane to stay in, at least at the beginning of your career, so that you can meet the monetization requirements. You know that's going to be effective, and you know, okay, I'm making 100 videos very intentionally. I'm going to convert 1% of them over to being subscribers because I focused on one audience, so then my conversion rate is better. Okay, and if you want like another like just kind of like proof of concept of conversion rates, I've done this on my smaller channels, but I can show you this here. 1% rule is real, and the reason the 1% rule is real is because even at a higher level, 1% of viewer conversion to subscribers still seems to be the norm when you're not doing YouTube Shorts. When you're not doing YouTube Shorts, because even on my channel, if I go to analytics, even on my channel, roughly 400,000 views turns into about 4K subscribers. You can see it right there with your eyes. So like what I get for 400,000 views is I get 4,000 subscribers and about $4,000 in YouTube monetization revenue. That's how it's worked, and that tends to be true even for smaller channels. It tends to be true as well that 1% of viewers turn into subscribers. The goal though is it works when you're speaking mostly to one audience. Now if your personality is fire, that number can be much higher as far as a conversion ratio. I can get higher conversion ratios than that sometimes, but really this is par for the course, right? This is why I tell you that if you can get 100,000 views, you can get the 1,000 subscriber requirement, and this works even on small channels. I've seen it time and time again, and it's even worked on some of my own small side channels, okay? Even my faceless channel. So there's kind of like a proof of concept for you, and there's some data and some evidence, and this generally tends to be true even up to 100,000 subscribers. This tends to be the case. Most people, if they hit 100,000 subscribers and they're not doing YouTube Shorts, you can look at their channel, they have 10 million views. They have 10 million views. I did at 8 million views, actually. I got to 100,000 subscribers at about roughly 8 million views. So this is what I'm talking about. Now, so there's a system that you could use to reach level 1 success. Hey, what's up, Justin Brown? Good to see you, my friend. So yeah, so that first level of success of just getting your channel monetized, if you're struggling with 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time, you can literally use the formula that I outlined, and you can use simple math, and you can use simple math, and you can actually get to that purely on simple math alone and get the monetization requirements. So then the next thing is that 90% of channels never get to 10,000 subscribers. 90% of channels never get to 10,000 subscribers. What you would want to do after you get your first 1,000 subscribers is you want to try that performed better, and you want to duplicate that in terms of the effort for your videos. Because if you go into advanced analytics, which none of you analytics on your desktop, you guys need to stop just going to analytics on your smartphone. You need to go to analytics on your desktop, and then you need to look at advanced mode. You need to look at content by subscribers. And then when you look at content by subscribers, if you want to grow your channel, you say, okay, it took you a year to get 1,000 subscribers. You don't want to grow by 1,000 subscribers a year. Let's say you want to grow by 1,000 subscribers a month. Well, then you have to start doing the things to grow by 1,000 subscribers a month. And you need to identify them. So the way you would identify them is you would look at, well, what's growing me by subscribers? And you would start looking at your last 28 days. You'd look at your last 90 days. And you'd say, okay, if I look at what topics grow me by subscribers the most, then I need to focus on doing more of those topics. And that sounds like oh, of course, Roberto, well, duh, but no, not really. Because you need to take even just one video. You need to take even just one video that got you like 1,000 subscribers in a 30 to 90 day period. And then you need to reverse engineer that and say, how do I make a series of 5 more videos specifically, 5 more videos on one video that got me that? And then you can look at the other videos that got you either a lot of views or a lot of subscribers and go, okay. And then you also need to look at like proportions. You need to look at, well, did something get me a lot of subscribers but with less views? And then, okay, what are those ratios looking like? Because then you could say, okay, if I can do more views to these kind of topics, or this converts higher at a higher percentage, but it got less views, how can I improve this to get more views specifically? And then if I can get more views, I can then turn those into subscribers. We've got YouTube's creator liaison, my good friend Renee Ritchie in the house, says, preach those advanced analytics, so valuable for creators. It really is. It really is. And again, what's hurting a lot of you, and I hate to break it to you, a lot of you, what's hurting your channel is your own boredom. What's hurting your YouTube channel is your own boredom. I'm gonna jump out analytics real quick because I gotta address this. Do you know what ruins people's careers, ruins people's careers, ruins people's business, ruins people's relationships, and then definitely ruins their YouTube channels? I can tell you. Boredom. Boredom and how you're reacting to, oh, I'm bored, so I'm gonna just change things up. You're ruining your career and you're ruining your YouTube channel, and a lot of you ruin your relationships because you decide, oh, I got bored, and now I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna introduce this chaos, and chaos is not cute, my friends. Chaos is not cute. You're just ruining the good thing for no reason. And what a lot of you should do is you should embrace the fact that success, until you reach a certain escape velocity, all success is predicated on being bored and doing boring things that work. Boring things that work. And I'm not telling you do things you don't like. I'm telling you that you have to suffer through sometimes not having novelty, not being a variety channel, not being able to make whatever you want. It's that success comes in serving the audience, and creators who put the audience above being bored will be more successful than a creator who does whatever the hell they want and then gets upset because it didn't work. You have to do things that work, and things that work start very boring. You know what's boring? Learning to tie your shoes is boring. Learning to read is boring. Learning arithmetic is boring. Okay? It's like the foundations of a successful career, a successful life, all of your successful relationships, your business relationships, your interpersonal relationships, it's going to be boring, mundane things. It's going to be maintenance. It's going to be maintenance mode. It's going to be building things brick by brick, and it's going to be maintenance mode. So it means if something worked, I need to do 5 more of that, 10 more of that, to get 5 to 10 more times the result out of it. It's just what you're going to have to do. So you could just start to try to find ways to say, okay, now creativity can come in the execution of the way that you do it. Do the thing that works, but then try to keep all the successful parts of that process, but make it enjoyable enough to endure it or to get excited about it. I will give you a primary example. So this video is about content strategy, and it has a couple of components here. Use the strategy to grow on YouTube in 2023, advice for new YouTubers. Okay, I actually could probably use the same title formula a little bit differently a couple of times. I could probably make a use this strategy to grow a YouTube channel fast, advice for small YouTubers, because that's slightly different. And then I can make a effective thumbnail. I know I'm good at thumbnails. And then that one speaks to small YouTubers instead of just new YouTubers. It could probably have similar results. So that's one more way for me to duplicate this. Another video about content strategy is like, use this strategy to grow on YouTube, advice for YouTubers with a full-time job. That's probably the majority of YouTubers. That's probably going to be really helpful. Use this advice to get monetized on YouTube. How to get 4,000 watch hours fast. Use this advice to get monetized on YouTube. How to get 1,000 subscribers fast. So now I probably have 5 videos that I could make that I know have the potential in a 90-day period to do very well. But like, I made this video, how long ago did I make this video? Yeah, I made this video in the last 90 days. So I know that's like, okay, if I make 5 more videos like this, then I probably can get another 8,000 subscribers from doing 5 videos. That's probably a really good idea, right? So it's just about using the data that you have and realizing that there is a reason that things work, and that you have to, a YouTuber grows by putting the audience first. This is supply and demand. You have to supply what the audience demands. Thank you, Patricia Hairstyles, for the super sticker, and thank you, One, for the super chat. Appreciate you, $9.99 super chat. We have more than one channel. We don't have to stick to one. That we could run a couple of channels. In theory, you can, but here's my problem with people doing that, because they're bored. Because this is like, and this is no offense to anybody, but this is the problem also with people being bored. See, if you're not a full-time content creator already, you probably shouldn't run more than one YouTube channel. If you're not full-time, I need to make a video about this actually, about when to start a second YouTube channel. Do not start a second YouTube channel if you're not a full-time creator. If you're bored, get over it and make one channel work, get one channel monetized, get that channel to make $1,000 a month for you, and then start from there. And then once that's working and everything like that, if you're bored, play video games. If you're bored, do TikTok. If you're bored, do Instagram. Don't start a second YouTube channel if you're not a full-time content creator because you're bored, or because they're like, you want to do different things, you're tired of doing the same thing over and over again. When you pick something for YouTube, pick something you're not going to get tired of. Pick something you're not going to get tired of. This is real advice. I'm just giving you real advice. It's harsh. A lot of people won't agree with it. They'll cherry pick exceptions versus the rule. I'm telling you, just like, you know, unfortunately in the real world, if you wanted to do a career, a profession, I would tell you, if you're going to pick a college major, pick something you actually want to do, potentially for the rest of your life. Do not change majors halfway through, because you'll have to start over from scratch. And you're going to do that because you're bored. If you're going to commit to something, try to get it right the first time. Now, not everyone will get it right the first time. Sutton's Day says, excellent message today. Thank you for keeping it real. If you don't feel the first video, if you feel the first channel isn't succeeding and you've made like 100, 150 videos, scrap it, do a second channel, and don't go back to the first channel. If you feel like the first channel isn't working and you think you can do better on a second channel, go all in on the second channel and don't touch the first channel ever again. And I'm dead serious. Because again, if you're a career creator, if you're a hobby creator, disregard all my advice and do what the hell you want. My advice, I want to like caveat this stream. My advice is only in this instance for people who want to be full-time content creators. If you want to do YouTube for fun, turn off the stream. I'm serious, because my advice is not going to be helpful to people who want to do YouTube for a hobby and want to do YouTube for fun. That is not how my advice works. My advice is not really geared toward the hobbyist. My advice is geared toward people who want this to either be a $1,000 a month plus side hustle, or who want to go full-time and are going to commit to it. And my advice is for people who largely at least have some stable lifestyle. And my advice is for people who have a stable lifestyle. And I think anyone can read between the lines and know what that means. So if you exist outside those circumstances, my advice is not for you. And I don't like having to qualify my advice with 20 asterisks and disclaimers, but I think I have to be very clear, because one of the biggest problems in social media is the concept of generalized advice. I understand that problem, but that's also how everything works, is we speak in general terms and in generalities, and we have to, because we end up niching down to the point of non-existence if we don't at least to some extent speak in broad sweeping terms or generalizations. But I will give you my caveats. My caveats is, if you don't have a stable home situation and a stable lifestyle, and if you're trying to do YouTube for fun and for a hobby, do not go with my advice. Find somebody who focuses on that type of advice, because it's not me. My advice is for people who want to be full-time content creators and do it as a career, or who want to do $1,000 part-time job and will treat it like a part-time job instead of treating it like, I want to play my favorite video game and get paid for it. I want to vlog my life and get paid for it. That's not my advice. My advice doesn't work for those people. My advice is not for people whose first priority, second priority, or third priority is having fun. That's also because I'm 38. I'm older. I'm over the hill. It's not first, second, or third priority. For me, the priority goes to making the most out of your time, getting most ROI out of your time, min-maxing, meaning that my advice is for you to get the most out of that, be able to pay back the camera gear that you bought, pay that off, especially those of you who, for whatever reason, put it on a credit card instead of just buying it, to turn this into something where you can justify it to yourself, you can justify it to your friends and family and say, hey, I'm making $1,000 a month. This is not a waste of my time. This is a priority in my life for a reason. Because, I mean, that part's really hard, right? Like, if something's not making money and it's taking time away from other people in your life, it's hard to justify it to yourself and to other people. Especially those people that it may come at the expense of spending time with, right? So, if you have people that you're not spending time with to make content creation, kind of hard to justify it sometimes if you can't say that it's making a return. So that's that's the issue. And the thing is, you can be creative and you can express yourself and you can have ADHD, but that doesn't eliminate the priority of focus, because the issue is going to be that you cannot use ADHD as a reason or an excuse for your employer of why you did something outside of the manual or outside the box when you were supposed to follow instructions step by step for the company to meet its goals. You're not going to have that excuse at work. Your boss isn't going to have that. Teachers aren't going to have that. Teachers are not very lenient on that sort of thing. And for producing real world resorts, like, the world doesn't owe any of us understanding. And that's a harsh thing to come to a realization of. The audience doesn't owe you understanding. It's hard. So the way that you address it is you package up front and give people what they want. And if you want to have fun, or you want to tweak your brain or whatever, do it in the editing. If you're going to do anything, do it in the editing, but do it in the editing in like the middle of the video, not in the first 30 seconds of the video. Everything that's up front has to serve the audience and put the audience first. So the topic, title, and thumbnail, that has to be about the audience, not about you. The hook in the video in that first 30 seconds, that first 1/3 of the video, that has to be about the audience, not about you. And then whatever thing You want to do a little fun skit, you can do that in the middle of a video. You want to do a quirky edit thing that you just learned because it'd be cool, or a thing that you think would look good, you can do that in the middle of the video, because at least you have the first 1/3, and the audience might be able to feel like they got some value. You have to put the audience first. So, you know, there's all these excuses and distractions that are going to hurt your career as a content creator, and you have to be ruthless about this. You know what they say in writing? In writing, they say kill your darlings. In writing and editing, they say kill your darlings. What this is like, there might be a part of the book or the story that you were really attached to that just disconnects the reader or pulls them out of the story, and you have to be willing to get rid of that thing. You have to be willing to kill your darlings for the sake of a better story, for the sake of the reader. And a content creator has to do the same ruthless choices for the benefit of their viewers. For the benefit of the viewers. They have to create the best experience for the viewer. Because if you don't serve the audience, if you don't serve your audience, somebody else will come along and do it. If you don't serve your audience, somebody will. Somebody will. And they'll be happy to run their numbers up, and they'll say, I don't care, I'll be bored, I'll do the thing. Because what they'll say is, well, I want that silver play button, or I want to make $10,000, $20,000 a month. So what the audience wants is what the audience gets. Like satisfying yourself, and you'll be an audience of 1. Or even if you're not an audience of 1, you'll be an audience of 100. And it'll be 100, and maybe they're ride or die. And that, if that's enough for you, that's fine. That's what being a hobby creator can look like. And I have nothing against people being a hobby creator. But I'm saying if you can't commit, then it's not a career. If you can't commit to things, then it's not a career. It's a hobby. Because careers are commitments. Careers are often decade-long commitments, lifelong commitments. If you can't even stick with one thing for a year, do you think that you're going to be able to stick with one thing for a decade just because it takes off? This is why people who go viral with one video can't sustain it, by the way. Everyone wants to go viral. Viral creators often aren't able to sustain it because they don't want to do the thing that succeeded. And sometimes that's a good idea, because sometimes they succeed doing things that are embarrassing or that can't be duplicated. And they live in the shadow of their viral video. They're a one-hit wonder. Going viral is not the blessing that people pretend it is a lot of times. Because most people can't sustain it because it's not the thing that would make them happy doing that content. And guess what? Someone will come along who can. We'll see that that's a viral trend, and then that's why someone who starts the trend doesn't benefit as much as somebody who takes over the trend. And that can happen. So Chloe Forbes says, €5 super chat. Is it possible to become a full-time content creator on YouTube alone, or do you think we need other social media platforms too? Largely, most people don't use other social media platforms to grow their YouTube channel. And a lot of times the other social media platforms can be a distraction to your YouTube channel, but other social media platforms can help you with brand deals to become a full-time content creator. So I'm going to tell you some things that you don't know about full-time content creators. I'm going to tell you a couple of things you don't know about full-time content creators. In fact, actually what I'll let you do is, if people want to super chat and then tell me who a favorite full-time content creator, and this needs to be a full-time content creator, so don't super chat your own channel if you're not a full-time content creator. But if someone wants to super chat like over $10, I will analyze the full-time content creator of your choice, and I will tell you things that made them successful that you may have overlooked and not understand, and I will break down their success for you. My caveat on this is no one's allowed to pick Mr. Beast. No one's allowed to pick Mr. Beast. I will break down and analyze the success of whatever content creator you want. It's just not allowed to be Mr. Beast. It's also not allowed to be anybody who's not currently uploading videos. So, yes, you can become a full-time content creator alone. In fact, it might be more financially viable to become a full-time content creator alone, because if you, depending on your situation, if you're single, it's easier financially to become full-time because you can live very modest. You can live very modest. You can become a full-time content creator. You can make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, live somewhere that's not New York and California, and you could do it strictly on YouTube. You don't need other platforms, but you also wouldn't need a team. I actually have several videos that I have planned this year that are specifically about being a solo content creator and not hiring a team. What a lot of you probably don't know is the 1,600 videos on my channel, I edit my own videos still. I still do not have any type of video editor helping me. I do all the videos, I do all the thumbnails, I do all the production for the live streams. I'm doing all of it. I have a team helping me in my coaching business, but that's it. Team helps me on my coaching business, and that's it. but yeah, you have to pick something. And by you have to pick something, you have to pick an audience. You really have to pick an audience. So when I say niche down, I'm not really talking about niching down to a topic. I'm talking about saying this is the group of people that I'm passionate about making things for, and I'm going to care about what they want, what they pay attention to, and what matters to them, and I'm going to make them happy. I'm going to make this group of people happy. That's what it really is. We used to just call that target marketing. We used to just call that target marketing in business. So yeah. Terraman says, "Yep, when I play live music, I put the audience first." You have to. You have to. You have to put the audience first. You absolutely have to put the audience first, because the thing is, there's nothing that happens without the audience, right? So the audience has to be priority and focus. And when you look at things, it's easy to look at things through the lens of being a content creator versus looking at things through the lens of the audience and what they want, and the fact that it's their time. It's their time. And so I think that matters. Yeah, you can have different playlists, but the topics you're building are entirely two separated, right? So you're saying that you want to build different playlist topics like finance, music, career, and food. That will confuse not just the algorithm, that confuses a viewer. That confuses a viewer completely. We're not looking for that. There's not a TV show that you're watching. There's not a TV show that you're watching for all of those topics. You see what I'm saying? There's not one TV show that you're watching that does all of those things. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. The reason, find a solution that you're solving for these women. A solution that's meaningful to one of the most important things you could do for these women is focus on finance and career. You could focus on finance and career because those two things are intrinsic to success and independence and economic mobility. So finance and career. Now those things are extraordinarily similar, but they solve for enough of the same type of circumstances and problems that those people would have that allows them to watch every video that you would upload. Okay? So diversifying, you don't need to diversify much more than finance and career, to be honest with you. You don't need to diversify much more than finance and career because finance has maybe 5 different product buckets in it. You could be finance, great. Finance is also financial literacy. Finance is also investing. So you can teach them that. So you can teach them financial literacy. You can teach them investing. You can teach them budgeting. You could teach them credit hacking and things of that nature. You can teach personal finance. So 5 buckets under finance by itself. Then in career, okay, career development. Teach salary negotiation and salary negotiation role play. Okay? You could teach career building and career skills. You could do list of high-paying careers. Okay? You could do things on switching careers, and you could do things on job placement or things of that nature, or when to leave your career, when to transition, what you should be paid, salary transparency. You have 10 content buckets if all you taught these women were finance and career development, and that's enough to consolidate an audience. And the thing is, that's a more important priority to them than music or food. Music and food are distractions. Finance and career are intrinsic to a better life for them. And so why not make that a priority and say the specific problem I have, because guess what? If they have their career in order and they have work-life balance, and if they have their finances in order, they make enough money, they have enough security, they have enough stability, they can go to music festivals all they want, and they can buy whatever food they want, and they can travel the world and try whatever food they want to try because they can afford it at that point. So again, when we want to make all these different topics and we want to be variety channels, what we're really doing is there's an intrinsic selfish component to variety content, and like, oh, I have all these interests, and it has nothing to do with what's in the best interest of the audience. You may have noticed I've positioned the channel. In fact, actually, I mean, we can even look at this because I can just show you why I'm doing certain things I'm doing, and I can explain what the future of this channel is, and that actually might be helpful just for you to get perspective. Because there's a lot of things I want to do, but I'm also a full-time content creator. So guess what? That means that when I want an outlet, I can do my podcast, I can do another YouTube channel, I can do a faceless YouTube channel, I can do different things because I'm a full-time content creator, and that gives me, and I don't have, kids or anything, so I can just I can put time and money, effort into things that a normal person may not be able to because I have a circumstance that's different, right? So what I'm going to show you is, I'm going to switch screens real quick. I'm going to bring up a screen. I'm going to show you why I changed like the main content buckets for my channel. Here it is. I'm going to show you why I changed the main content buckets for my channel, what I changed them to, and why it makes sense for what I'm building out. And maybe this will help you understand, because there's a way to address variety should exist in the guise of how you solve for a problem, not the problem that you solve per se, or again, the audience you solve the problem for. It could be the things that are meaningful to that group of people. It could be the things that's meaningful to that group of people. Now, again, this is easier to parse in your head if you're doing education stuff, but if you're doing entertainment, you absolutely should niche down too if you're doing entertainment. And by that, I mean you should niche down kind of to a mission statement or a style or a thing that you're doing. So that's a little bit more about style and brand building in a way. And again, you can pick creators and I can tell you how they're doing it, and I can use them as an example. But always be booked, cruise, and travel. Says appreciate the straightforwardness. Keep telling us how it is. I will. So on my channel, creators and business, profit from your passion in the creator economy. Okay, so when you go to the playlists that are featured on my channel, content creators who want to be full-time are building an online business. If you're trying to be a full-time content creator, essentially you're trying to build an online business, whether you realize it or not, because that's how you're making your money. The best platform for building your brand and audience online in terms of social media platforms or media platforms is going to be YouTube, as far as I'm concerned. And it's the one that I have the expertise and experience in to the most degree, followed by, I would say, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Because I have almost 100,000 followers on Twitter. I have like almost 75,000 followers on Twitter. I'll be at 100,000 by the end of next year on Twitter, so I can speak to that. But YouTube is the one that pays people, so it's probably the best one as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Then, if you're going to be a full-time content creator, how do most full-time content creators make their money? Brand deals. So, it makes sense that I have a playlist on brand deals, right? Well, to make content, you have to edit. So it makes sense that I teach you how to properly edit your content and use editing tools and editing software, and that those are super evergreen videos in their tutorials. So, okay, well, that makes sense. We'll start here to learn how to create content. So being confident on camera, you kind of have to do that to be successful. Making thumbnails, you kind of have to do that to be successful on YouTube. Batching content, making the right amount of content, you have to do that to be successful. Content strategy. It makes sense that I would want to teach you about content strategy. Is uploading more helping you? Niching down. Use this strategy. No BS advice. How to get discovered. That makes sense. How to monetize. Okay, making content doesn't really matter if you can't make money off of it in some way, shape, or form. So giving you different ways to monetize. Different niches that pay better. How much each niche pays. How to turn that income into passive income. Probably makes sense. You're on social media, you probably do need to understand how to properly build your personal brand and how to position it. Understanding the creator economy, understanding analytics, being a full-time content creator probably matters to you. Managing your mental health as a content creator, probably important. or at least it should be, may not seem important enough for the views that I get whenever I cover that particular topic, since it seems to struggle to break 20K views on that topic whenever I talk about creators' mental health. People say it matters to them. Does it, though? Seems to me that monetizing and getting subscribers matters a lot more to creators than their mental health. Seems like that matters to people more than learning how to edit videos fast, which would probably make them more successful. Brand deals seems to be doing well because people do want to get brand deals, but a lot of people don't qualify for them. So growth on YouTube and making money seem to be the two priorities for people. So again, that's why those things are the top of the playlist that I put out there. So if you look at this, everything I described shows you how I put the audience first. I'm like, okay, if these things get the most views, these things are the most interesting to people in aggregate repeatedly, and I can prove it with numbers. And hey, I know this is the money side that makes people successful. I know that time matters and video editing is hard, and I know content strategy is hard to grasp, and that making money is absolutely essential, and that personal branding is evergreen and always matters. Then these other things become like a lesser priority. Okay, I put things in the order. Tools, we need people in the trades, we need people in architecture, metallurgy, mechanics, engineering, electrical work, plumbing, and also hydraulics, metalworking. We need people like that, right? And if you're going to teach and monetize that, what I would tell you is this. Look at the certification programs and make study guides, paid study guides for the certification. And what you should do is you should take the certification test yourself like every year. And you should probably like even blog yourself taking the certification every year. And if you could do that, then that's actually going to help the audience understand. It's going to be a great promo for what you're doing. I actually had a client, I had a coaching client, someone I taught, I had one of my coaching customers does tutoring and did SAT prep and ACT prep, and would show people, like he would vlog like taking that and scoring high and all the things, and then would sell it. And there was other things. I think there was like another one for doing some of the higher stuff like GRE and things like that. So course guides, like selling like certification and how to pass this exam study guides. And when I worked in the bookstore, when I was a kid and I worked at Borders Bookstore, I worked at Borders Bookstore in the mall. It was Walden Books, but it's owned by Borders. So, and then they rebranded to Borders. So when I worked at Borders, one of the best things we ever sold was the, test prep materials was our best-selling item. Test prep material was our best-selling item. So if you're going to be in the trades, where I would start with certifications that help people get a raise, because people will invest in that. And then those certifications qualify them for a raise or a different position or a higher paying job. And then what I would do is I would use those certification test prep materials and I'd market around that. I would charge a healthy amount for that, and people will pay for that and use your study guides, and that will make you money. And you'll also get great testimonials out of that. And then what happens from there is possibly the ability to build a group program. Like you could make it a study group. You could probably build a study group program and not just the test prep materials around passing the exam. And you could basically do a boot camp. You could do a virtual boot camp for your trades. And so I would look at that. So I think that for tradespeople, you could build a business model where you do certification test preps, sell courses that help for exam preparation around your trades, right? You could do that. You could make good money around that. You could also offer a paid membership to a virtual study group that helps people as well. And that's something people will pay for because they're investing in their career development. Let's see. I need to review this YouTuber named RC Blakes. Let's see who this is. Promoting self-healing, self-actualization, 673,000 subscribers. Yeah, we can take a look at this. I can already tell you why this person's successful. It's because there's a lot of people. Like one of the things, the most important things to people are what? health, money, relationships, and time. Universally. Universally, I can tell you that basically channels that focus on health, relationships, money, and productivity, but universally, those always work. If someone really just wanted to be successful, they could just focus on one of those verticals and be successful. Because there's always going to be enough of a market for that. There's always enough market. There's always enough related, anything relationship related, anything money related, and anything productivity related. There will always be a market for it. It's always easy. So there's a market. It's always easy to monetize. You don't have to be credentialed to do it. It's largely going to be predicated on personality, and you can use common sense, and you can use facts and common sense, and then it's just personality at that point. And there's not really a technical level of quality that makes it a hard barrier to entry. $500 YouTube camera, two specific issues on my own. I don't need someone to speak to that. I need best practice order, and I need systems, and I need that. That's or high intermediates for courses is blind spots they weren't aware they even had, or when they feel that their knowledge of something is incomplete and that they would like something that's a little more on their own or their loose understanding of it. They would rather have a more complete understanding of it because that is probably making them less consistent or confident about execution. So like that's my perception of it. And I have the same opinion by the offer. You could go broad